Restart. We are live. I apologize if I talk a little quieter than usual. Most of the people in my home are still asleep, but I'm joined. Hello, it's early. It is 4:50 Eastern Standard Time, and I'm joined for a Wrestle Kingdom 17 live, halfway through, 60% through, watch along with Javier Machado. Javier, how are you?
Yeah, I think closer to 50, maybe even 40 at this point.
Okay. Oh, jeez. Well, I'm glad we did this when we did because we, I peek behind the curtain. I DM'd you and I was like, "Hey, are we at the intermission yet?" And you're like, "What do you count? Uh, Carl Anderson and Tomatonga, right? Or yeah, is that
for
yeah,
the never, yeah.
yeah?" And well, yeah, all you have to say is never open weight. I'm like, "Yep, we're at the intermission from a match standpoint." So we've got the 6-man tag. We've got what Lij versus
Yeah, it's Lij, it's Naito, Bushi, and
Sonata
who
is
else?
in the
Sonata,
ring.
yeah, Sonata. Yeah, it'd be nice if I switch over. Sonata and versus Keiji Muto, Tanahashi, and Shooter. So
Cool.
pretty sure Bushi's there to take the pin, and probably because he also has the miss too.
Yeah, for sure. And every time I see Kenji Muto, I always think like if he was in WWE in the mid '90s, he'd be Kenny G. Uh, Something or other, right? He would get his name all butchered. So I always think that's fun to think about as him there. But hello everyone that is popping in and out at this early time here in North America. Please comment, say hello. Let us know what match you've liked so far. I'm gonna have Javier do kind of a quick rundown, as you know, we probably have a good 5 minutes before this match really heats up. So, Javier, what are your thoughts been on Wrestle Kingdom so far?
It's been okay. It's been a while since I've watched New Japan, so it's nice to see stuff that's flowing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, because it feels like the last bunch of stuff I've seen in WWE and AEW is a little bit clunkier than I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot more smooth for the most part. Nice to see some smooth stuff, and not to mention some stiff stuff too. But
Yeah.
It's been a fun show so far. Simon Miller on Twitter tweeted out something that I also really enjoyed, that during the Rambo match, we had our first ever elimination from a Rambo with a nipple twister.
Nice.
Thanks to ELP. So that's one for the history book. So we got to see history today. So
Yeah, awesome. Sorry, as I am trying to produce here while I talk, because I saw we had the Raw preview thing up on our live stream. So we're gonna put that on the early thing for me here. So
yeah, dude, it's 5 in the morning, bro.
There you go.
It's 5 in the morning.
Yep.
I'm on my 4th Mountain Dew.
There you go. I've got my early 2000s Chris Jericho mug for the he's the closest thing to us, someone that's wrestled in Japan recently that I had. So
we got to see Bolton Oleg, which apparently is going to be a new recruit for to the Young Lions.
Okay.
He had a 3-minute exhibition with Ryohei Oiwa.
Okay.
And it seemed like they gave him a little bit, because the guy, he's someone who's actually wrestled and almost went to the Olympics, from what they said.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of getting the Kurt Angle vibe thing going. And they gave him some towards the end of the last 3 minutes, where Oiwa looked surprised that this guy had something. So it looks like they might be planning planning something for him, so he's someone to keep an eye out for him.
Okay.
The King of Pro Wrestling, Rambo, it was what it was, and the final four was Sho, Shingo, Yano, and Great Khan.
Oh, that's good. And they battle at New Year's Dash, right?
Yeah. Okay. Winner of that is the first provisional champion. They changed it from a trophy to a belt. So
you love to see it.
Yeah,
that's what I've always said. There's not enough belts in New Japan or really any company. So
yeah. And it seems like every week there's a new one. The disappointed to see in a Rambo and not in a not involved in the main show for me was Great Khan, Jeff Cobb, ELP, Taichi, and Shingo of all people. Mm-hmm. Seeing them on the Rambo and not involved in the main, not having something to do was and a guilty one was for me is Taguchi. So I'm a Taguchi fan.
Well,
yeah.
So, it's kind of made for the Rumble, I would say. So
and then they open hot with what they always do is the young lion, not young lions, the light heavyweight tag. So that was the fast match to get everybody into stuff. Oh no, you know what? I skipped something. I skipped the memorial, the Inoki Memorial. I mean that was clunky because it was like the older wrestlers, and that one ended up a bit clunky.
Okay.
But then, the Francisco Akira and TJP against Leo Rush and Yo. Akira and TJP won that one. And Leo Rush got busted open.
Oh.
And like half his face was a crimson mask. The other half was, clean. And there were some good, cool, like images, like, you would see one side of his face that was clean, and then he'd turn and he'd be all bloody mess. So, Hey, Brian.
Hey guys.
Hey, yeah, Brian is here. Almost 4 a.m. where he is, so even more commitment from Brian in Central Time here to join us. I think Brian, you've also been watching since the beginning. I don't want to put that on you, so I'm assuming that, but you're close to it.
Yes. So okay. I missed the pre-show matches, but yeah, I've been up and about since then. So
cool.
And it's been flying by.
Well, that's good. Javier kind of broke down the first couple. If you want to pick back up after I don't even know where you were, Javier, but jump in there, and because we are, again, if you're watching live, thank you.
The next one would have been the Kairi Tem Nakano.
And how was that?
Short. I don't think it went more than 5. A
little bit over 5.
Yeah.
A little bit over 5, maybe 6.
I was kind of disappointed in that because I just felt like there was an opportunity to at least give them like a solid 10 minutes. For what they had, it looked, decent to solid. Kairi had a superstar entrance, but obviously the main point of that entire match, I guess, was to set up the debut of Mercedes Monet, which completely different look than Sasha Banks, like completely different look. Her gear, hair, presentation, completely different. I've actually seen some pretty mixed reviews on a lot of people obviously are happy to see her. Some thought it kind of felt flat because there wasn't really that much crowd interaction, which I kind of think is a little unfair because obviously like the Tokyo Dome, you're not going to get like a lot of noise for women's wrestling in general anyway. But to me, Monet came across as a star, and they set up a match, I believe, for the Stardom card for February the 17th in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we'll get our Monet versus Kairi Sane. Should be fun.
Cool. And then Javier, what were your thoughts on the whole situation?
Count me in a little bit more on the lukewarm. Her promo was, I've never been a big fan of her promos, so it was kind of like, I don't know, just it didn't really knock it out of the park for me. But I want to see what she can do in the ring when she's unleashed.
Agreed.
And hopefully it doesn't take too many risks because she's kind of nuts. But I'm more interested in that anyway. But I'm old school, so with that name, I can't stop thinking of History of the World Part 1 with Count de Monet. So that was like my first thought on that. So that had already taken me kind of out of the moment too. So, and the other thing, and I kind of, I love Kevin Kelly and these guys, but they kind of joked around way too much with that. They basically, as the match was coming to a close, they said, "Oh, we got to talk about the big, rumors that are out there." And then Gino said, "Oh yeah, it's that I'm here." And then like after when she came out, they were obviously playing up the fact, everybody knew who it was, and they're kind of playing like, who is it? We're doing one of those. So that also kind of like, I think they didn't handle it as well as they could.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm actually with you because like I feel like you got more of a natural reaction if you go back and look like a couple of years ago. Even if look at when Suzuki came out to challenge John Moxley after he won like the I think it was the US title. Like you got more of a natural reaction from that than it was just a little bit too on the nose. If this would have been like AEW trying to bump her up, then I think you would have been fine. But I kind of actually agree a little bit, especially with like the match being so short. I felt like it kind of took away from like that big moment because obviously I think it had been almost the last women's match to be at a Wrestle Kingdom. I think it was like 94 or something like that.
Yeah, pre even branding of Wrestle Kingdom, right? It's just the big January 4 show at that time. So interesting. And I will jump in here. We saw a finish to this trios match. Umino got the pin on. I didn't see who got a pin on. Did you guys see that while we were talking?
I'm not sure, but it's probably Bushi.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it's not. But interesting there. I think Shota getting a pin on the Wrestle Kingdom show is a sign of things to come. And then now we've got Tanahashi and oh my gosh, and Kenji coming out, walking out together with the spotlight on him. So a nice moment there. It's nice to see, not just clapping. I guess I don't have it turned up super loud, obviously, but that certainly was a match that we could have all predicted. But hey, it's there. So okay, let me confirm this for you guys because I've only seen the photos on Twitter as I woke up and hopped on with you guys. So thank you for kind of catching me up, and hopefully anyone out there watching can get caught up on that. But so it's Mercedes Monet.
Yes.
Like the name, like Claude Monet, not money, right? That's the
Monet.
that's the vibe. Okay.
Monet, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So,
but they're definitely selling it as the pun, it being money, because and she's calling herself the CEO.
Okay.
And called herself the CEO of the women's division.
Gotcha. So one would presume that would be the same in AEW on the 11th, if that is certainly the case. Would that be only her gaijin name? Do we think?
That is a good question. I was kind of curious on obviously like the theme music like presentation just to see how that would transfer over because I presume there's no issue like if AEW plays like a Stardom and or New Japan theme like on AEW television. I assume not. And obviously I don't know who created Mercedes Monet's like kind of new. It's just kind of just like a beat. I wouldn't even call it like there's not really any like lyrics or anything. It's kind of just more like of the beat. Not that I'm like a DJ by any means, but Mercedes Monet and the hairstyle was super interesting. I saw somebody actually. I saw a couple people joke that her remnants of her hair kind of looked like Bam Bam Bigelow's like old flame gear.
Yeah, that right there.
Yeah.
I guess I should have it full screen for everybody, not just so. Yeah, the good production quality you get here at PWTorch Live. Yes. Tyler's phone put up to his camera. So, well, very good. So obviously the biggest thing of the show thus far, and then obviously, we kind of. Javier and I talked a little bit. I don't know if there's a match in between that we missed Javier, but we had FTR losing the IWGP heavyweight tag team titles. So the move to the Fed seems obvious to me, but how was the match itself between the two of you? Javier, you can go first.
I thought it was a good match. There were a couple spots that first there was not Dax, Cash hit a frog splash that like just hit Goto in the head, and I would not be surprised if Goto's concussed. Yeah, when the match ended, he's actually grabbing his head, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And there was another spot where I think it was also Cash and Yoshihashi went over the top rope, and I think Cash was supposed to land on the apron, but he went straight down and looked like Yoshi almost almost landed like on his head on the apron, and then like hit the railing in a way where I think it was Gino was like saying, "Oh, it looks like he broke his foot," and he yelled like pretty loud. So, but it looked like he was okay. Yeah, and I think there was another like kind of like iffy spot, but other than that, it was a good match.
Cool. And if I can jump in, and then we'll get to your thoughts, Brian. Hiroku outfit, I think, is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And, it's something ridiculous. That is why you should be something. This is why you like watch something like Wrestle Kingdom. So I don't know. You guys can tell me if this is the greatest outfit of the night so far, but I feel like
this looks like he killed a beholder and is wearing it. If anybody's played D&D, that's
or like he killed it and then made a skin out of it, and then also took some psychedelic substance of some sort too at the same time.
Well, I mean that's what his outfits usually look like.
Yeah, I was just confirming that I didn't slip something before I jumped on here. So thank you guys for confirming this. I very much. And then the Daryl. Wow. Not Daryl, the eye with the leash on it is very fun for me as well. So, but Brian, to you about the FTR match.
Yeah, kind of just the theme of the night. A lot of these matches have been super short. Javier, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even think that went like 15 minutes. That was probably more around like 12 or 13.
I don't think it's been a minute. Any match has gone longer than a little bit more than 10 minutes.
All right, so we're getting about an hour each of these main event matches. It sounds like at minimum, but interesting tidbit. I presume Tyler that this wasn't actually any type of work, but Kevin Kelly did mention FTR hair literally got to the Tokyo Dome 30 minutes before the show actually started due to flight delays. So I thought that was kind of interesting, where that seems like that's like a storyline built into itself, where they could obviously lean into, because it seems like they're doing this losing streak angle. The FTR Ball does have a broken ass cheek still, which is also something they could lean into. Yeah. As far as your speculation of them going to the Fed potentially, I don't know. I still feel like there's a lot that they could do. You obviously want to run back the Bucks at some point. And I know, especially with the FTR still doing all the podcasts, is that going to rub anybody in AEW wrong? But to me, I don't think the Conrad crew, they would just do a podcast for 6 months potentially and then just stop it. Because as far as I know, I think if you're in the in WWE, you're not really allowed to do said podcasts like that anymore. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, Zach and I talked about it on Fireside, and we couldn't think of anyone that has a regular podcast. They might pop on the Corey Graves podcast, but that's a approved vessel for
that's a work part. The work podcast are the absolute worst. I think I would no. Those make me cringe. They're just not authentic. Some people try to advocate, oh, you should listen. I'm good.
Yeah. I think that's not required listening for anybody personally. If you, I would agree with you on that. But so that's the interesting part, and I think it would just be, it'd be too much of like red meat for the FTR / CM Punk camp of that whole something. If Dax were to say, hey, let's all work this out together. We got to make wrestling good for generations to come. And then they both go to WWE. I think that would be a negative impact on their legacy from like a certain aspect of the fan base. But, I also would not that I'm saying like anything negative, but like they don't seem
Yeah.
super happy where they are currently. So I don't know. I'd probably put it 50-50, but the podcast is like the one thing that doesn't make a ton of sense to do because you can't do it at WWE. So
I agree. Javier, what did you think about them not booking Aussie Open for a rematch? Because that seemed like an open goal for me. I felt like that would have gotten a lot of people out of their seats because that Royal Quest match, Tyler, I don't know if you ever saw that. That was great. I would, if you ever are bored and want to go out of your way and go watch something, that match was phenomenal. That just seemed like an open goal. I don't know why Aussie Open didn't win the tag league.
Yeah, I remember Todd on the Fix mentioned that. I haven't watched that match yet, and I originally I was more excited for that for that possibility over because Bishamon is not really something that has always really been something I want to go out of my way to watch. But I mean, for what it was this match was a lot better than I was going to expect that I had that I had any expectation that was going to be. Give me 1 second because my stream died.
Oh no. Yeah, I haven't seen. I saw like before the show started, it seemed like some people were like the new subscribers. It looks like they were having issues like using the service, but I was using my Fire Stick for a while. Now I'm just doing it on my desktop, and no problemo for me all night.
Yeah, I'm on Chromecast to my TV and has worked famously thus far. But I've like they have like the additional app for Chromecast, so it usually works pretty well. So for anyone trying to watch it. So we've got the let's set the table again for this match. We've got this a 4-way match for the junior heavyweight title?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yep.
so we got Hiromu, we got who else we got here? We've got
Master Wado.
Okay, yeah, Wado was out first.
Taiji Ishimori, who's the champion, and
Yeah.
Hiromu Takahashi.
Gotcha. And what, Desperado too?
Yep.
It looks like okay, cool.
Yeah, and Despy.
There you go. You can tell. I'm always transparent about how much I'm up on the content. So I'm more leading you two to give us good insight and me just to stumble through. But the Bone Soldier is looking absolutely jacked. So this should be good, right? So
yeah, I feel like there hasn't been really that match yet to kind of like get me jazzed, like where I'm just where I could potentially wake my wife up and then she could get mad. I guess I'm saving that for Kenny and Ospreay eventually once that comes on. But yeah, I mean the card has flown by. I guess I kind of had built up expectations in my head where I thought I was going to get those vibes from like 2018, 2019 again, but they haven't come yet. But obviously there's still a lot on the plate.
Yeah. And is that just like where you are with the product, Brian? Or is that just because it's, one day again and that's why you were jazzed?
I was always for the one day Wrestle Kingdom. Like they always flew by to me. I think I actually kind of prefer because like a 5-hour, 4.5-hour New Japan show is not near as bad as like a 7-hour WrestleMania show. And because I actually like my first live Wrestle Kingdom I watched was actually the Alpha versus Omega. And that was like my first introduction to like actually watching New Japan live. And I was just so amazed on like, oh, this is not WWE. This is completely different. They're actually going boom, 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 just like, and seeing like the Bucks and Cody and knowing obviously Jericho was obviously like somebody I was familiar with. So I was like, okay. And then I've, had heard so much famously about like Omega and Okada. So I was like, okay, I gotta check this out. And I was like, okay, I see the appeal. This is definitely my jam.
Cool. And then Javier, like, what was your kind of like expectation coming into tonight? I know you said I think you were a completionist for a period there, and then you kind of have dropped off recently. So not to put the words in your mouth, but kind of
I usually drop off like right after G1 because the G1 is exhausting. And then I pick it back up once they have their next big pay-per-view, and I might tune in and out of the tag of the tag tournaments. And then pick up like right before Wrestle Kingdom. I just didn't have time to follow that, so I actually haven't watched since the G1. I did watch like some of the promos and the the thing they had. Yes, I'm tired. The press conference. You know, I saw the press conference, which is you know, so I got some of a gist of what's going on. Do you know what happened? Because I think I heard that Kushida might have been supposed to have been involved in this match, but is he sick or?
That I'm not sure.
It would certainly make sense. Maybe if he's not, maybe he's coming out to challenge the winner to like set up a big, you know, for you know, the U.S. audience. If he's not injured, I have no idea though. That would be my only.
Yeah, because a lot of what I know was also previewed by on the fix, and I think Todd mentioned something about Kushida that Watto's replacing Kushida. So I don't know. And I remember like when I was just kind of popping in and out that he had some sort of like illness, and I didn't know if it was still persisting or not. So
yeah, and that makes sense because Watto, I mean, of the four guys, it kind of feels like the odd man out. Definitely on the, you know, Kushida would feel like it would make more sense for sure with these four guys. I mean, these guys have been the three guys in the ring minus Watto have been locking down this division for years and years and years. It feels like so.
Yeah, and in the one video promo thing I saw, they actually made fun of them for that. That they were being asked about what they think about everybody, and then they cut like one after the other, like, oh, he's an idiot, he's a moron. So he's definitely been they're treating him as the odd man out in this one,
which is always dangerous in wrestling.
Which means he has a good chance of winning this.
Yeah.
So
at least if it's you know, American wrestling, we'll see. See here if they make that move. So
let's see if anybody comes out of here bleeding, because the last time, all the times we've had a spot out there, somebody's been cut open. So
but you know, it's all that sharp LEDs out there. So.
I think Kelly described it as a grating. There's also like a grating there, so because that's where Leo Rush got tore half his face off.
Nasty cut.
Yeah, was that a bad play job, or did he actually?
No. It looks like legit, and it looked like around the cheek area. And it was, you know, and it was pretty. They didn't super shy away from it, but you know, they didn't also like emphasize it either.
Gotcha. Well, I'll see if I can get the great technology on my phone here and pop it up for the people that.
But like I said, there was one really cool shot where he's on.
He's like have his face.
Yeah,
kind of looks like fiendish there with like the like if he had like the blood mask, like the skin mask. So
there was one moment where he's the camera gets him only from the profile that's clean, and then he turns towards the camera and like you see it. It's like that it was a cool shot. I don't know if it was intended or not. Probably not, because Anderson Tama Tonga match was, I mean, for fans of work rate, you're not gonna love it, but like it was a fine match. Until the end where they botched the gun stun, which was the whole story of the match. So
that looked like Anderson being a carny there. Am I looking too far into that, Javier?
No, because I think they were like out of position. I think he was too close to the ropes, so he went early. He repositioned when Tama went down, so it looked like Tama went down while Anderson was trying to reposition. So then Anderson had to go down. So it looked like it was both A, mistimed, and B, also the angle it was from. You could tell that it was like nowhere near, where it was coming. Because they did the move. They were both like out of, like, they both hadn't caught their balance when they went for the move, because it was supposed to be like really quick. And it just looked like they mistimed it.
Yeah, I did like Tama's presentation. I thought his entrance and his gear kind of made him come off as a big star.
Yeah, I mean, I've been liking his journey ever since his match with Tanahashi. What was it like? Not this G1, but the previous G1, which is when he quote unquote earned the Supreme Flow.
Yes.
Which I think that was also when he beat Okada. I think because he lost to Tanahashi, but I think he beat Okada. I think maybe after that, if I remember correctly, or maybe not. But
I can't recall.
Or at least that was like the start of his face turn. So I've really enjoyed his whole arc. I am wondering when Tanga Loa is supposed to come back too.
Yeah, it seems like that tag division is certainly obviously not the same it was a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it like across wrestling, right? Is there like a company that is excelling at tag team wrestling right now? I would be hard pressed to say someone is like absolutely killing it. You know,
I guess that's fair. I obviously don't watch Impact that much, so I couldn't say.
yeah, but just like the Impact Tag Champions, I don't know off the top of my head. So that just tells you kind of where Impact. Yeah, that tells you where that is. You know, so so I think that's kind of a cyclical theme of wrestling where you kind of collectively it seems like there's a lot of effort put into it all at once, and then it kind of dips off because I don't know. I don't. We don't need to power rank tag team wrestling in general, but I probably am aligned with most promoters and where it's kind of cool occasionally, and then it doesn't get my full effort all the time either. So I kind of see why it's like that, and the money in it is not as much as having big single stars also. So I'm always kind of sympathetic to that. But yeah, I mean it's probably especially lacking in New Japan. When you look at the card, it's like, these used to be, or at least the depending when the Bucks were in it, and that's they're their own thing. But yeah, it's just feels more like the WWE style with Japan, with New Japan to me of like, hey, something for these guys to do, etc. is the vibe. So
yeah, I just remember like you had fun. You would have fun acts like Killer Elite Squad.
Oof.
Really fun acts. And then you had Evil and Sonata, like kind of, I guess you could say strange bedfellows in some ways, but like you would have fun, folks like that, at least in the division. And I couldn't even really run down a lot of the tag division in New Japan right now. I mean, there's Chaos. Any members of Chaos that you could probably list off?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, they're in a tag at some point.
Yeah.
This and also we're live just to get it back to the match. This segment has been very good with all four guys basically trading just insane moves, and then the other guy coming in and popping off. But I think this so far it will probably all a second or two off of each other, but this has been very hard hitting. I think this is it's heating up as we're talking. But this has been
what hurts this
match
for me is that this is not something you see. Like if you only watch New Japan, this is actually special. You usually don't get 4-way matches like this.
Yeah.
Which is constant just movement action. But like you watching WWE and I mean, and granted they've toned it down in the last bit, but them and AEW and Impact, it was like like every other match is a 4-way, 3-way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't think about that. And it should. I hope in the build-up it was put as a special thing. It'd be like having a ladder match, or like a Jericho and Kenny was like a no DQ match on purpose, right? That was like, and it was especially violent because really every match in New Japan is no DQ match, but at least the main events where the ref is not going to be the hero and call the match for somebody. But that's a great point, Javier. Thank you for bringing that up because it feels so normal in pro wrestling but in New Japan it is a special thing here. So, and Hiromu hasn't broken his neck yet, so I'm very thankful for that. All these big spots I knock on wood if you can hear that through my mic. So
I was really disappointed with Dragon Lee heading to the WWE because they weren't going to be able to wrestle anyway because of bad blood between their family and New Japan. Over the whole CMLL AAA thing. So I knew that was going to happen anyway. But I mean, it's kind of like a mixed blessing in a way because it's like I really would like to have seen Hiromu and Dragon Lee, one more match after the broken neck thing. But I'm like, you can't be sure that they're both going to come out of that alive either. So
yeah,
there you go.
I mean, to be fair, I think that family has bad blood with everybody, including myself in wrestling. So, Steve's here. Hi, Steve. I'll pop his thing up. Steve has been the number one guy to request a live watch along. So, Steve, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. And let us know if you're watching live or if you just hopped on or how you're thinking. If you watch the whole show, how it's going. Oh, I heard screaming on my TV. So we're still going.
I mean, Waddle's gotten much better than the last time I've seen him.
Yeah, I feel he's a guy that, feels like, you get that kind of, I don't know, just need that one gimmick to make you feel like a bigger star because he kind of feels like,
Well, I think he had inherited the Yoshihashi gimmick.
yeah, which
When
is
Yoshihashi, they kind of moved him up as like, the lovable loser who's finally beginning to string a couple wins together. And Wada was definitely like, and it's got to be done on purpose because I remember they had Kojima's tag team partner Tenzan, who was his his mentor. Tenzan would treat him like a kid, and it was funny because I would describe it as like it almost felt like Tenzan was taking care of like some CEO's kid who was like going to wrestling school is what Wado felt like to me. And he was green too. Like he was not, he's looking, his stuff is looking a lot better.
Well, that's good. So good review actively of Wada there.
Yeah, and then like a tricky thing with Master Waddle too, like when he came back from Excursion, he pretty much like re-debuted like during COVID too, which was obviously pretty tricky. So unless like you're a pretty hardcore New Japan like fan, you weren't probably gonna be like into him. I mean, the gimmick's kind of like weird because I've still been kind of trying to figure it out as well because they made him seem like he was coming out of a dojo. Like if I remember the vignettes, he was like in the woods, coming out of his dojo. Oh, Pinchy Loco. Oh, we got to finish, maybe?
It seemed like a 2 count to me.
I'm pulling for Despy. That he's one of my favorite wrestlers in New Japan right now. So
yeah, that was a near fall, at least for me. So was it Hiromu on Despy?
Yeah, Despy just kicked out.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Dang.
And then Master Water just hit the flying elbow. Okay. Yeah, to me, like when he came out, again, I'm like that. Because, like, is he like similar time with Great O'Khan kind of re-debuting with that gimmick?
Yeah.
Okay. So, kind of that era of ref got pulled. That era of New Japan. And I don't know, to me, like, I don't play a ton of Persona. I don't know if either of you guys do, but it felt like very Persona vibey was Master Wada when he came out, and I don't necessarily know if that clicks for me personally, but it might feel a little heavy-handed there too. It's like,
wow, you are way ahead of me.
Oh, the ref pull.
You just got pulled, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good to know. So we're probably 10 or 15 seconds ahead, which maybe we can get for the main events there, but we haven't been doing play-by-play either, so I think that's good, but we'll let Javier react to huge things because you're probably more aligned with things, but yeah, so that was kind of my, it's like, I don't know, it seems a little heavy-handed. I don't know if that's what they're going for, but it's, like Kenny doing like a Final Fantasy vibe is one thing, but like if you're in Japan, that to me feels like a little heavy-handed, but I could be reading too much into it as well. I just wonder, like, what the American version of that is. Is that like Joey Chestnut coming out eating hot dogs? Is that like what people think of Americans? I don't know, maybe, or a cowboy, right? Ryan, you know that all too well, right? You get that, if you went over and you'd say you're from Texas, they'll be like, cowboy, yeah.
That's like the worst stereotype ever, just because everybody thinks we're hillbillies, we ride horses everywhere. It's like, no,
it's just Red Dead everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much, because like, because I think people forget, like, because I'm obviously near Austin. Austin's like one of the most progressive cities probably like ever, or like currently right now in the US. So which everybody just thinks it's Yellowstone, and it's like, no, it's really not. Yeah, you might have your occasional ranch, but I mean, there's just freaking apartment buildings everywhere, like within centimeters of each other. So
what was that too, Javier?
High angle suplex from Wada to
yeah, and he almost got it too.
Yeah.
It was just like the angle of the high angle was pretty steep.
Yeah.
How far behind am I?
I just saw the finish.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. Geez. All right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, they're still going.
I enjoyed that finishing sequence. I mean, again, I don't think that was. Again, we're talking. Okay. It's always hard. Like, That's why when we're talking and trying to entertain everyone out there, which we thank everyone for joining.
Give me a second. Let me try restarting the
Yeah, you're
screen.
good.
See if I get a.
Yeah, just make sure you're like fully live, because I don't think I was for like a second, but
Yeah, especially if it buffers for a second. I mean, you're losing every second there. But yeah, that to me, Brian, was a quality. If that was like a WWE match, that probably would have been like bell to bell the best match of the show, no questions asked. But for New Japan, like I enjoyed every bit of that. Again, I don't have commentary up very loud, so I'm not getting the story and all that sort of stuff. But
right.
that to me was the Watto show, for to like the coming out party, which I think is good, right? Like as I said earlier, there it's like, you know, Despy and Hiromu and Bone Soldier have been basically the three guys that have had that title for I don't. It seems like I obviously, like most people, came in for the Okada Omega stuff in 2016 was when I first really exposed myself to New Japan, and it feels like it's been, them still, Will Ospreay was part of that too before he, added 100 pounds of muscle, it seems like, but
Right.
totally naturally too, I'm sure. But so I think having another person in there and feel mildly important is good too. And Kushida coming back as well helps. But what were your thoughts on that match?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to say that's the match of the night. So far, it's gotten the most time. This gave me the most New Japan-y vibes that I kind of yearn for these matches, just because I don't want to say like our time is precious, but like I need a little bit more substance than like a gentleman's three. Like I don't want necessarily like Hiromu to potentially die and kill himself, but
Yeah.
I need that additional flavor and taste that we may not get on national television in the US. But definitely my favorite match. I'm definitely a fan of Despy. I would have been a fan of him coming back, but now I guess when they do, trying to think of the next big show, which they could potentially do the title match with Kushida. Let's see. I guess that would be
There's something late in this month. That's like the 20th, 27th or something. I don't know, something like in that range. I thought I saw. So, but Kushida did not come out for everyone out there watching. And as we can see on the screen, and Dave Meltzer reported a couple minutes ago, we've got Ospreay and Omega up next. So please be excited. So keep going, Brian. Sorry, I just wanted to get that.
Oh no, you're good. Oh, and I think we're getting Devil's Cry for Kenny's entrance. So
yeah. Oh man, and cleaner. Javier, I see you back. Are you seeing the Best Bout machine on your screen right now?
I'm seeing the arena shot right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It says
okay.
Like on the thing, it says now just said belt collector.
Everything went dark right now. The cleaner.
In your life? Okay, no. Okay, just on your screen. So I don't know if you needed us to call someone for you. Yeah, so you're pretty close. You're much closer than you were before. So I assume, Brian, are you and I on the same page on
yes.
that? Okay, cool.
So what you're telling me is get a Fire Stick for next time.
Or Chromecast. Whatever.
Yeah.
Pay some giant tech company to spy on you so you can watch this 5 minutes earlier.
It's like I think Sling is the only one that doesn't. Not Sling. What I'm talking about. Roku.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't understand why. I guess it's just kind of, I don't know if it's like just a deal that they have with Amazon directly. I mean, I would think they would want like Apple TV to have access to that because, a lot of people do have Apple TVs. And I didn't have a Fire Stick for a while, but then I was like, okay, do I really need to get a Fire Stick just to watch New Japan? And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, this entrance is fantastic. So, I'm a sucker for stuff like this, but the one wing, the way the screens are set up too. Yeah, I'm popping hard for this, guys. So,
like, I love the presentation on how they have all their kind of Titantrons. I like the single like LEDs, and then we have the long scoreboard one up top, like I'm at a baseball game in Wrigley Field or something.
I agree.
Unpopular opinion, but I think Sephiroth is overrated as hell.
Oh yeah, as a villain for sure. I mean, like, just the whole story of 7. I think is that's just our first exposure here in the States of like good Final Fantasy, But you know,
No.
six is,
Final Fantasy 2, aka 4.
Yeah, I mean,
and 1 was awesome too. I love 1.
Yeah, I'm a 6 guy personally, and a 9, but and 10. But,
I accept 4 and 6.
Okay. I mean, I like almost all. I even like 8.
No, I love them all, but like,
so yeah, I'm a softie. I need to play 15 still, but 16's coming out, so I'm excited for that. But in the remake, I like too. So
I stopped with 10, so I didn't. I tried 12, and I've tried it a few times. I haven't really gotten into it.
Yeah, the systems are inadequate. It's that weird 2007, whenever that came out. Like those systems are kind of in between.
Yeah, because they tried to change it because nothing was wrong with active time battle, and they decided to change it, and it was like,
yeah.
And it felt like a MMO, but you're not playing an MMO.
Well, yeah, and yeah, but the special edition cleaned it up. Anyway, this is not a Final Fantasy podcast. Sorry, I derailed.
Well, I mean, it was Kenny Omega coming out to One Winged Angel, so
yeah. Well, he's like
counts.
How old's Kenny? Kenny's like 38, right?
Or
39, so
somewhere in that vicinity. Yeah.
So that's he probably literally. I don't know when he moved to Japan, but he literally played that game and then probably wanted to move to Japan because he loved it so much, or in that cohort of games. So that's
and to be fair, had he gone with a Street Fighter intro, we'd probably be talking about that instead.
For sure, yes, we'd be ranking our Street Fighters, and it's definitely not 5 at the top of the list. So.
I'm already a huge. I without any volume, I'm already like a huge fan of this Ospreay entrance.
Yeah,
it's got a nice piano backing right now as I turn my volume up a little bit for both entrances here. Oh,
surely they'll have Don Callis on the call for this, right?
Per Steve, no Don Callis,
Boo.
and he's very excited for that there is no Don Callis. So we'll see though. He could pop in still. Don't put anything past the. Oh man, he got the Cody entrance.
The Cody Vader.
Yeah, and then to then bring it to another video game, he's got the Assassin's Creed hood over his head that he just pulled up. So, with the United Empire by his side, it would appear every member.
Yep. So I wonder if we're gonna get any.
I love Charlton, who's plays into the stuff that he's watching. It's not the Final Fantasy for the Challenger. It's the Rise of the Assassin. I'm like, that's...
Yeah, there you go. Hey, look at that. What were you saying, Brian?
No, I was just wondering if potentially if there's going to be any Coda signings.
Oh, man.
Potentially. I know obviously there's some series.
That was my thought, that if we don't see him either at the end of this match or at the end of the main of the the other main event, I would guess he's done with the company, because it just makes sense that he shows up either if Kenny Omega wins, that he shows up to challenge Kenny, or if Okada wins, he shows up. And I think that if he does not show up, I think he's done with the company.
Yeah, I worry about his shoulder, because obviously it was reports he couldn't even lift bench press the bar because his shoulder was so thrashed, and I just worry about his recovery time. And it was interesting that Kenny was wearing a Kota Ibushi t-shirt during the AEW match last week, just to kind of shout out, because I think he's been gone pretty much this entire year. Is that right? Or 2022, I guess.
Yes. When was the? It's probably been longer, isn't it?
Oh, there's Don.
Because he got injured during a G1, wasn't it?
Yeah, 21 G1.
Yeah,
right?
so
it's been more than a year, I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, because didn't he try to come back too early or something like that?
Well, they tried to bring him back, and then that became a whole thing where
he was tweeting out stuff about the owners and some wild stuff going on. All right, so what do you think, guys? We got 10 minutes max on this match, or?
Well, I was gonna say over under 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean it's a 60-minute time limit, right? Yeah, 60-minute. I would say
Okay.
I'd say like 32 to 35 minutes would be my guess. But I mean, it's 5:40 on the East Coast.
Because
These usually
Okada's
end,
going over 45, right?
yeah, but these usually end at like 7, right? Eastern time. I feel like.
Give or take. I don't know, man. I don't think Kenny's coming back for like if it's going under 37 minutes. I don't think he's coming back for like just a 30-minute match. I think he's
Yeah.
gonna go balls to the
Go big.
wall.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like, and I don't know if I need JY and Okada to go 90 minutes. Like, if that was like a 25-minute match, I think that's fine.
Mhm.
I would rather give this like 45 minutes than Okada and Jay. Not that that won't be great, but I just feel like we've seen Okada and Jay several times now,
Mhm.
and this is obviously like I mean, to me, this is like the main event.
Yeah. Well, and as Steve said too, Callis is there and now he's not
Yeah, I was about to
there.
say
So,
that. Yeah.
Yes. All right, this will go back.
so sorry, Steve, but you know, I think especially. I mean, I guess kind of what is the vibe on? Obviously, Ospreay's a heel within the company, but you know, I didn't hear the.
God damn it, it froze again.
That sucks.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like Kenny's got to be cheered back as a returning hero, right? Pretty easily, no matter where he's at.
I would think so, but that Ospreay promo was pretty epic
Well,
on
yeah,
Tuesday.
it's the same sort of thing of like the guy who left and now is coming back wanting the big match. So you know, there's a story to tell there. So I'm interested to see where this goes. If it kind of you think it's going to go, Kenny's a returning hero. Everyone's going to cheer for him, but in the middle or end of the match, he turns, you know, more cleaner heel on the situation.
And I still can't call this. I have no idea because I think there's really good outcomes either way. I've
Mhm.
seen people potentially fantasy booking. You know, if Kenny wins, maybe he's the one who comes out and challenges Okada. That's
Mhm.
how we get that match for Forbidden Door
Mm.
potentially. Which
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just super tricky. I think if Ospreay going over, then you can finally build to Ospreay to Okada, where Ospreay finally beats Okada.
Mhm.
That makes
Yeah.
sense as well.
To get the belt, he never lost. You can tell that whole story.
Yeah.
Well, two.
Okada and Omega 4. If you've got 4 to 5 months to build that until Forbidden Door, I mean, as wonky as that build was, if you already have something in the can, like
Yeah.
for the summer, that show's gonna just sell out in seconds if they put that
Yeah, for
on
sure.
the books.
And if they promote it well, which I don't know if they will, like this, like that's my only hesitation. But like AEW's not good at like promotion, like cross promotion anyway. But like if you watch AEW, like you have no idea this is happening. That like Kenny Omega's in a co-main event for a company you work with is kind of insane to me if you just like watch the television
Despite
product.
doing the early build to this.
Yeah. But like, you know, within recent weeks, like, you know, while you're having match 5 and 6 of your long term thing, I don't know what the choice is that concerns me like what not concerns me, but makes what I like what Brian said less likely to me. So
Yeah, that's actually right, Tyler. I don't know why you could have at least ran back like kind of the Elite versus the Aussie Open, like a trios match.
Yeah.
And to say, hey guys, just remember Kenny Omega won't be on Dynamite, but if you want to watch him, you can watch him this week on Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, it's like $7 for you to watch the show, basically. So, and like you know, there's like that promo. I was actually in Columbus when it was like in between Dynamite Rampage was Kenny and Ospreay's promo to each other, or was Cleveland? I don't know. I was at the show. I remember that, and they could like have just shown a clip of those two. I mean, I understand like you don't want to promote another match while you have another feud going on, but like there's a way to do it, especially on like a Rampage or something like that. So. But yeah, so we'll see. But yes, thus far for everyone watching, I don't know, Javier, if you have seen Omega throw Ospreay into the turnbuckle into the corner yet.
Well, he's choking him with his boot right now.
Choking him with his boot. How was that? Is he still pretty far behind Brian?
Chop to the back of the head.
Because like to me, Kenny's taking turnbuckle
threw
off
him into
right
the
now.
turnbuckle. So,
There you go. Yeah. So okay. So just it's good to know where you are. But so far Kenny's dominated. I mean, Ospreay threw Kenny pretty violently into the barricade, but then Kenny's kind of come back and he's taking the turnbuckle off now, and we're definitely on.
Yeah, he's starting to take it off right now.
Yeah, we're on a fast pace, slow start, I would say, because this match is, for some people this would be, they'd be blown up already, but for these two guys, it feels like a slow start to me. That would say like, hey, this is going to be a 40-minute match. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, 35 to 40.
Yeah, so which is crazy that this is like, this would be peak 90s guys at full cardio, but. This is standard for these two guys, obviously. I mean, if you put like I don't know, like work rate and athleticism fantasy match in 2023, because we're in 2023 now, like I think this would be like the top two guys you pick, right? In all pro wrestling, or is there anyone else I'm missing?
Oof. Yeah,
like
I mean,
you had like a 40-minute match, just trying to think anyone that is like that dynamic to be in this spot. I mean, I guess Okada's up there too, but if Roman went balls to the wall, maybe circa Roman like 6 years ago at his peak athleticism or something, he could do it if he really put his mind to it. But I'm just trying to think of like athletic freaks in pro wrestling that kind of fit this mold.
TJP and Alexander on Impact had an hour and 15-minute match.
Jeez.
That was great. And supposedly Alexander also had one with the Speedball Mike Bailey. I have not watched that yet.
Speedball's great.
I will say I was present during I had a brain fart there for a second because I guess it was technically 2 years ago. I was at the Danielson Page draw.
Oh yeah,
it was fantastic. Like I can't believe that was an hour because it felt like 25 minutes. Just lovely stuff.
Yeah, and I mean Danielson probably is up. Page sneakily is up there, I think, which is kind of a problem with his character that he was sneakily on a list like that, because I think he's proven that he can do that. But I put him up even over Danielson, because Danielson, I mean, I love him, but like everyone, they've got their own moves, but he's very much physical strikes for like the whole story of the match. And but anyway, this is not a critique on Bryan Danielson, so I'll move on from that. But what I'm saying is, I think you guys agree, is that this is maybe not a dream match, but in this scenario where you're going to get a super long match, this is pretty juicy. So I'm glad we're all here watching it together.
Absolutely.
Live on the internet. And Javier is watching 10 seconds in the past. So.
10 minutes is what it feels like at this point.
I mean,
I'm wondering if you guys are watching it at 1.5 speed.
No.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I'm not even watching on my Fire Stick anymore. I'm just watching off my desktop, but I do have fiber, so that probably benefits me a little bit for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the source is always better. If you're watching on a phone or on a desktop, you're getting that direct feed as opposed to like casting it onto another device is always going to save you a second or two.
But by comparison, I'm on dial-up.
Yeah. Well, but it's all good. We're here. It looks like Ospreay just starting to
Pip Cheerio, I think. That's the name of that move, right?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Phenomenal form. Or I mean, he changed it when he went heel, the name of the move, but
yeah. But now he's going to get his 5 minutes of offense, it would appear. But Kenny and Ospreay matches kind of buck the exact trends. But no, it looks like Ospreay's going to be working some offense here. So, and if either of you have your audio turned up at all?
I do not.
Okay. Slightly.
All right, mine's up a little bit, so I'll let you know if I hear like the 10-minute intervals, so we can kind of keep track of where we are. I didn't look at what time this started. I think like 5:40, so 4:40 your time, Brian.
Yeah, I had about 4:39 a.m. for the start, like when it looked like the bell officially rang.
Okay. Just because then we can all kind of see where we are and get to an end game. If anyone's ever watched me do a live, I love to announce when the match can actually end. That's when things get real juicy. So that's always fun to note.
I haven't gone through like a cage match, but I believe this if Omega were to lose, this would be his first time. All right, the last time he took a singles pinfall was he lost the title to Hangman Page.
Mm. Yeah, that would definitely make sense. I mean, not that he's had a ton of singles matches since then either, right? Because then he's gone for a while, and then the stuff with
the trios,
yeah, and then he disappeared for a month for some reason that no one knows why. So suspended for a month. So.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
So, but ideally, Tyler, if you want to, I guess, improve. Holy shit, that was
the thing on the apron.
Yeah,
you saw my face live for that. So
that looked awful. But if you want to improve the, I guess, like kind of like the promotion tactics, and then like I guess like overall relationship of like the Forbidden Door show.
There it is. What you guys were just talking about.
Wouldn't it be in AEW's best interest at some point, like throughout the week, kind of like say, hey, like, if let's say hypothetically, if Omega and Okada win, right? Don't you kind of want to already tease that, like, just? I mean, you don't have to. You probably, I don't know if they could show highlights technically, but if they could say, hey, Kenny Omega is the new IWGP US champion. Okada is your new IGP World Heavyweight champion. Like, these guys are a big deal. Maybe down the road we can see them again in US soil, which like absolutely makes sense, because if they were going to do a fourth time, that looked nasty. And I was waiting for actually some type of.
I can't wait.
I was just worried. I thought Kenny was going to break his ankles. That's what I was worried about.
It's funny because your reactions, there is stuff happening. So it's like, so I'm like, oh yeah.
So
that was that bad.
Yeah.
Here we go. There it is.
Yeah, I'd say don't show the replay, because it just showed how actually precise and professional that was, because no one got hurt on it. But
Tony's somewhere like just clutching like his pillow right now. Like, what is happening?
Yeah. And I would say on the promotion aspect of this, there's like an easy thing that could have been done here. I think because Honor Club is live, I think if you, oh no. All right, Javier, let me know when you see that spot and we'll talk about it. Good Lord. If this was on, if you could watch this for free on Honor Club and they did a cross-promotional thing to sell it to, hype everything up and be a good partner for them and all that sort of stuff, it makes a lot of sense. But AEW is just poor at.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I like this, the way we're, oh God. Oh my God. Kenny's okay. Let's see this replay. You got another one coming, Javier. Oh, that's not where you want your head to land.
Nope. I forget their aspect of replays, like within an 18th of a second after a move happens. I kind of actually really like that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was rough. Everything. This table has escalated tremendously. So. But it's good. I mean, this is very much a Kenny New Japan match. He's definitely, I think he's the one that probably laid this out more so.
Yeah. This is not an Ospreay match.
Yeah, this is if Ospreay could run up and jump on the barricade and stand on it for a second and then hit a move, Okada style, I think he would have at this point. That would have been that aspect of the match where that would have happened.
Any chance that all of this could go a 60-minute draw?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make this like a trilogy of something, if this is the match, if you can't get Okada for sure at this point.
This would be money at Forbidden Doors. Like that. Oh, that would be excellent.
Yeah, and this is almost easier to sell if you're Tony Khan from what has happened in AEW already, as opposed to the lift of. That's more where you need to be able to watch New Japan World on.
Oh my God!
It's also easy to do the promo work too.
Yes. Ugh.
I mean, and that's something that even New Japan's done, because they when with the first Madison Square Garden show they did, they wanted to have English speaking wrestlers front and center when people wanted Tanahashi and Okada.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I think it's very much a possibility. I would think you're depending on what Coda's doing. Kenny wrestling, Ospreay, Okada, or Coda is the only thing that makes sense at Forbidden Door, and that can be more of a main event than a champion versus champion or a Japanese wrestler going for the title that is not going to win for sure. And like MJF doesn't feel like he needs to be on that show, and I think that fits his character too. Because like, what is he doing if he's wrestling that show?
Oh man, I want to see MJF versus the Ace or something like that, just because he'd just be I think that like you pair him versus like the Ace, like the New Japan babyface of all babyfaces, and Tanahashi at this point he's Teflon, so it doesn't he can lose by shenanigans or something like that. So
that's true.
I think that'd be like real entertaining because that's the type of guy that you would want to pair him with, because you're not obviously going to pair MJF with Okada because they would not be happy if MJF beat Okada by like a kick in the nuts or anything like that.
Yeah, I think you'd have to, for me personally, you'd have to pivot and not make that the main event. I just don't.
For sure.
But that's here or there. But yeah, then MJF can be the Ace killer too because he beat Moxley, the AEW Ace. So
Oh Jesus!
I mean, that was so clean for how dangerous that move was.
They don't make sense. How do they?
Oh, I love Kenny. I know. People are. He's a polarizing.
Tell me they're gonna hit this.
Oh yeah.
They're holy. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
just love the death rattle on a bump. That's just me personally. I would ham it up if I was a wrestler. So I appreciate that.
Man, shout out to everybody doing like live streams and post shows today. Like, God forbid if there's big wrestling news that breaks throughout the day.
That was a nice sequence. I like that.
Yeah, it is strange that Wrestle Kingdom is like, I mean, obviously like big shows, everyone's kind of online together at the same time, but for it to be like, I saw Dave tweeting, it's like, I don't know, like 3 a.m. there. So the commitment there, it's probably actually easier than doing what I did, waking up halfway through and then getting caught up. But
I've been awake since 4 a.m. yesterday. So
yeah, that's too much. That's too
I'm
much.
at 20. I can't do math right now. 26 hours.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, hopefully you're going to bed after this.
Yeah, I forced myself to take a nap. Like, because at some point I'll have to do my shoot job at some point today. So I knew there was no way I could stay up all night because I would be completely useless. And then obviously want to see the big Dynamite show later tonight.
The dastardly shoot job.
I mean, I'm off. Well, but tomorrow I'm off today, so I'll be good. That's at least a positive.
Steve kicks in here, that kick out, which I think was a couple minutes ago here, 5:56. Yeah, a minute ago. Set up Ospreay kicking out of the one wing. No question mark. I mean, I just don't think that.
No.
I don't think so. That's got to be like a once in a career thing. I think.
Yeah.
At this point.
And I think if this was like a full I mean, the crowd is obviously better because they're making a tad bit of noise, but it's not back to where it was a couple years ago. If this was like everybody singing like where they could sing and stuff, then I might consider it. But like relatively speaking, the crowd has still been kind of quiet. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, it's also the issue that the Togo Dome's always been.
Better get your thought out, Javier. You're about to see something crazy.
Yeah. That's why I'm slowing down because this is.
We'll lay out for your reaction here. That was bad. That looked bad.
Oh my god! Oh, dude, that was.
Jesus.
And we'll see they haven't shown the replay, which kind of tells me it's either it was really bad or it looked really bad, but they don't want to ruin it. And this is like a time to give some. Oh yeah, he's blading. Okay, cool. He's fine. He just was blading under the ring. So,
Jesus.
So yeah, that was something. What were we talking about?
Oh, I can't even remember.
I don't even know.
We were talking about shoot jobs when.
Yeah.
You ran Dynamite tonight, so just a cheap plug for everyone watching on delay here. I'll be joining Wade for the post show.
Nice.
On the PWTorch network. I know Javier, you joined last week with him, so that was a good show to talk about, I thought.
Yeah, I'll be joining Greg on Sunday.
Well, there you go. Get all the plugs
Very,
in. So
very cool. As we're waiting for,
I just realized I'm not taking any notes, and I'm so supposed to. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this.
Yeah,
it'll be fun to go back and rewatch, so that way we can hear the.
That was a blade job.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that was a large puddle of blood on the floor there.
Well, I wonder who did it for him, because everybody on Empire was down there, so I wonder who's the best blader of the group. Maybe Ka? I don't know. I'm trying to think of who was bladed a lot, but I really thought Kenny was going to be.
It was Hornswoggle under the ring.
There you go.
There you go.
It's Vince's son. Yeah, Kenny's definitely gonna. Oh God, is his eye okay?
Yeah,
he's smelling that.
He's definitely gonna shine. Like I felt like because in one of his matches with Moxley, he got a nice little shiner. I think that's when he won the title.
Yeah, he looks like he's in an actual boxing match with that thing. So they're hitting hard. Oh, this is bad. All right. Whew. Actually, it was not bad. That was crazy impressive.
Oh Jesus! And he landed on his feet.
Yep. And he's
covered in blood.
Yeah, his bicep is touched Ospreay briefly there, and it looks like it's funny. I'm not saying that Kenny Omega looks like Jericho, because I think he's obviously more in shape and he's 15 years younger, but his bicep being red like that, they have similar physiques, obviously. Like if Kenny's when he's 52, will probably look like Chris Jericho. So very interesting. Oh my god, this is brutal. Sorry, Javier, I know I'm spoiling things for you, but god damn, this is intense.
This is great.
As long as you just spoil the pin, man, that's
no, I won't.
All right, well, I'll try to hold my facial expression back.
Well, I'm not looking in that direction. I'm looking at my I'm a split screen, so
yeah, which is actually
god,
a good call, because
dude, seriously,
yeah, that's the spot on the the neck breaker on the turnbuckle, whatever that you want to call that.
No, this is him slamming his head through the freaking table.
But that's how I could tell you weren't watching our video, because I was like, a lady in church who was offended by putting both her hands on her mouth when that move happened. So it's good for you not to watch us, so you can not know what's going. Man, this is.
Oh, okay. Enjoyed that.
Speaking of scary pile drivers, the FTR match also had a couple of those.
They did, yes. I can't remember. I think FTR here had a good one.
You're continuing to pop me with both those.
I mean, that's how I have to like. That's their FTR hair and FTR bald, and so they retire now.
Yeah, and it works across companies too if they change their name or anything.
Yeah.
So
my thing is, which one looks more like a porn star? That's Dax.
Yeah, I think it depends on the era you're talking about, but that's a whole nother discussion, I would say. So
I do
or the genre.
Yeah, I do want people to actually start putting, like, I saw a lot of people, obviously, I think it was Sports Illustrated had Dax as like a top 10, like wrestler of the year. FTR hair needs to get some love, man. He's really good. Watching him live, because I was at the Dynamite show where it was FTR and Acclaimed, and I thought he looked freaking great.
Yeah, well, Dax was kind of the more injured of the two, which is kind of the opposite of how it usually is. And yeah, I think he excelled in that role. And yeah, I mean, it takes two guys to be a all-time tag team, right? Mm-hmm. It's like the, not exactly the same, but the Bucks, right? Like they both have their strengths, and Dax is more that hard, not the old school wrestler, but Cash like lets a lot of modern things happen in their matches because he's there. Dax, you've seen on his singles matches, is wrestling that CM Punk style of like, hey, it's good, but if you did it week in and week out, I don't know if it would work every time, all the time with everybody. I think Cash is a little more versatile of the two, but yeah, I would agree. It's the moral of the story. All right, FK Retro, thank you for joining. This feels like go ahead.
It's safe to say that this match was designed to get Ospreay over.
Yes. Do you guys agree with FK Retro? This feels like a 2015 New Japan match.
Ish, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when you watch a match like that, oh my god,
I know.
That's my official commentary of this match in
Oh my
general.
God.
But I feel like it's coming for you soon, Javier, so get ready for it. But should be. I'm trying to count. I'm trying to time you up. You should be like 2 seconds away from seeing it. And dead silence. So maybe not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
V trigger.
Yeah. But like, I feel like Omega's got some not receipts because obviously this is the plane coming in. But like, Omega's like, the flow of this match is he's got to take 2 or 3 crazy spots now on behalf of Ospreay, and man, that's like the part in wrestling that your adrenaline's pumping, but just like I've never been in a
at this point he could kick out of the the receivers kick out of the one wing angel.
Yeah.
At this point.
Man, I will say the kick out at 1 I could potentially happen because I know obviously Kenny's done that spot. Actually witnessing that spot live versus Moxley and Takeshita the other couple weeks ago, that actually got me out of my chair. I was like, it's a simple spot, but obviously if you do it correctly, it like gets it gets the job done. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get Ospreay kicking out of something at 1.
So Javier, you're probably about to see this, boss Brian, and then Javier, you can answer. I like a sell spot that, oh my god, that Ospreay just did, where he kind of slipped on the ropes, and it looks real. It's not like, but then like he sold it hardcore with like the stumbling and the slapping and stuff. But I'm a big fan of wrestlers selling stuff that naturally not being perfect and that being a sell job. I really like in wrestling because people are always scared to not look
silly.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was funny. That timed up perfectly with another oh my god spot, Javier. So I thought you were almost live with us, but
that was for sure a kayfabe. Oh my god, because I know it's fine, but
yeah,
dude, seriously, how are those knees not really actually doing damage?
I don't know. Man, he's not gonna.
Oh my god! Are we okay? I think I know what's happening here. Jesus Christ!
I think I'm ahead of you too, Brian, because he teased the thing on the thing.
Yeah,
and then it didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I guess that's
you're good.
Spoiler enough for Javier, but I think that would kill somebody.
Yeah. There's those moves. Oh my god.
Yeah,
but the recovery was still. That was a pitch perfect. Like if you showed if Kenny was like, "Hey, I'm going to do this to you," and he did that to Ospreay before, I'd be like, "All right, I probably won't die. Let's do it." That's how clinical that was.
Dude, I got to go back and watch any of Omega's singles matches in AEW because I don't know if it's just the way that New Japan films stuff that is why I like New Japan so much.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's you gotta have a dance partner too. Like I think like a Pac could take a move like that and have a match like this if it's given time. But Orange Cassidy's not.
I gotta watch that because I haven't gotten as much into a Kenny Omega match in any throughout all of AEW, and I have to wonder if it's the camera work.
Well, Javier, I guess you're if you wanted a production change, that's actually going to happen tonight with the new Kevin Dunn apprentice now with AEW.
Yeah, camera cut's coming to you soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Maybe that's why he left, because he didn't agree with 75 camera cuts per punch. So
yeah, I forget the gentleman's name. I heard him on the sessions with Renee Paquette. He seemed like obviously not like a bitter dude, but he knew kind of okay, there's really nothing here left for me, which I'm sure Triple H is like, damn, I'm stuck with camera cut done over here, but
what I'm saying. It's like the drama of this guy firing up and the way that the camera just shoots that, and it concentrates on the right spots.
Well, and that's the good thing about the new
and they get you inside the ring. The way they get you inside the ring,
Yeah. Well, oh damn. That was nice. Well, and then like with the new production value, because the new guy, he's got background obviously in doing live sports. So, because I believe he was doing working with like an MMA company, kind of not in America. I forget where it was at, but his production value is going to be more, I think, potentially more New Japan oriented, which could be the benefit for like everybody, to be honest. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
You just saw the thing off the corner, Brian.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're closer than I thought you were. Okay. Yeah, it's time for
Oh my god.
that blood is clotting. It's time for Ospreay to now dish out some punishment. So I think some pretty intense spots are coming to Mr. Omega here soon. So we shall see.
Let's see. So we are at So
that's one
like
of
a
the
half hour?
finishers I kicked out of.
There's no way. Are we already at a half hour? This match is flying by. That's crazy.
I think we're about 10 because I had 4:39 a.m. on the start time, so we're getting pretty close.
Yeah, it's 5:10 your time now, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, I think this was like the allure of the New Japan match too, because like it only feels like this has been going for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's definitely like it's hard to explain. Oh my god. That was a great sell job by Kenny too, and there's almost his penis. But sorry, that was very distracting. But that's like the thing about New Japan and Wrestle Kingdom in general too. It's just like it's hard to like just things that happen in there it's more art than science, right? Of like why it's magic, and it's like a mind space to like get up and watch this. It's different than watching a pay-per-view, 5 hours of an AEW pay-per-view on a Sunday. Like you're getting up on a Wednesday to watch a match, and it feels like kind of a special event. So, and yes, FK Retro, Ospreay hit a Styles Clash. Does it have a different name? I didn't hear it. Like, cause it's the Phenomenal Forum is too, but he basically takes like a lot of moves from former Bullet Club leaders, right? It's kind of his gimmick and makes him better. So yes, we saw Styles Clash there. All right. So I don't have commentary on, and I'm gonna maybe not spoil this for you, Javier, but Omega's doing the whole wrist control thing of him and Okada from I think it's their first match was like they basically fought for wrist control in the last 10 minutes of I think it was that Wrestle Kingdom 14. Was that their first match? 13? 11? I don't know. It was 2016. So whatever that math is there, probably 11, I guess. Or 12. But I think this is an homage to that if I had to guess, but that's just me spitballing without commentary telling me what to do here. So if we see a Rainmaker, I'm gonna pop. So but
dude, that dry blood makes for a hell of an image.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, whoever on UE bladed him did a good job because it looked pretty gnarly, but obviously it was not. So that's the kind of blade job you want, I would say.
Shout out to the Great O'Con. I bet it was the Great O'Con.
Yeah. He's there for a reason. He's doing something.
The other day, and by the other day, this was a couple years ago. I went back and watched. the Eddie Guerrero JBL match.
Oof! Good God!
And that was like I was like, how did he survive? That was just the most insane thing ever.
Yeah, because like Moxley will definitely not shy away from cutting himself where there's definitely like a piggy bank type hole in his head, but it's just Moxley's will always just be like a nasty cut where he's not like bleeding the entire time. Yeah, that JBL and Guerrero match is just like, how did someone not die?
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh shit. Dead.
Okay. Well, that was quite the move there, I would say. Would you agree, Brian?
Yeah. Yes. Jesus.
Wait for Javier to comment on that move in particular. Oh, you saw the move too.
I'm just, Jesus Christ.
Hopefully everyone, and I guess like I saw someone a minute ago.
I knew it was when he had him. He said, "F you" and spit in his face. I'm like, yeah, it's over.
Yeah,
That was the defiant. I give up.
yeah.
Well.
Yeah, and I don't know what internet friend of the show Phil Lindsay's on of Grapsity and Bleacher Report, all that stuff, but he a minute ago was like, "Oh, One Wing Angel for the win." I was like on Twitter. I was like, "Oh wow, you were like way ahead." So we're all on different time on watching this. So, or maybe just predicting something that was easy to predict. I don't know, but
well, now Tyler, this will definitely lean into if they don't mention this now, like on the show, then that's definitely bad because now they have a shit ton of stuff obviously planned for the AEW show tonight, where they probably don't have that much time to like do like Elite Death Triangle promos because they obviously have like a huge show next week. But like Kenny needs to be coming out with that belt every week, like he has to.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, I'm conflicted. I want to make sure I'm consistent here because I think there's way too many belts in AEW, and walking out with another belt. I mean, at least it's been established. But yeah, I think if you're going to sell the Forbidden Door stuff and not belt collector Kenny, but if you get
is that confirmed by the way?
What's that?
Forbidden Door 2 or?
Oh yeah, I think they're definitely running that back again.
No, I mean I know they are, but is it coming back soon or?
Yeah, I think it's that May time. It's like after or.
I think it works out best for New Japan because during that May period, that's right before G1 and everything.
Yeah, well, May is that's Double or Nothing, right? It's Memorial Day weekend. That's late May. So then it's that next month. It's June is Forbidden Door. So yeah, I mean, I think it's not on sale. It's not like officially booked, but I think it's pretty much a done deal. But you know how things go in wrestling. You never know. So maybe that's the play here too. But yeah, very interesting. What a strange belt the U.S. title is in New Japan.
I agree.
To be like, is it the least defended belt at periods of time? I mean, like Moxley having it for a while, especially during the pandemic.
Archer had it for a little bit.
It's the most cursed belt. Well, no, never mind. I take that back.
Many cursed belts.
No, the first couple of reigns with the new IWGP.
Yeah, with the butterfly belt.
Yeah.
I kind of miss them having the Intercontinental. I like their IC belt.
Yeah,
when they still had it.
I think that whole thing was and particularly since they just introduced the TV belt, which I mean, granted, has the whole 15-minute stipulation. Speaking of, I didn't mention that one. The match between Zack Sabre Jr. and Katsuyori Shibata Jr.
Mm-hmm. We had Zack one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, that's.
I mean, I do find it really weird that Ren Narita is like literally Katsuyori Shibata. I mean, that's it's
Yeah.
I haven't seen much of his stuff, but like he basically just wrestled like everything. The only thing I think didn't have was the drop kick in the corner, and that's about the only thing he didn't do.
Yeah.
So is this gonna break the Observer star rating scale? Because
you mean for Dave in particular?
Yes. Like, is this getting 7 4/4?
I don't think so. I mean, I enjoyed that quite a bit. I'm a harsh rater. I don't know about you two.
I'm harsh. I mean, I usually only really rate the G1 because it's in order to balance to see who had the best G1 kind of thing. But like, I'd probably have to listen back to so I could hear the commentary closer.
Yes.
But I'm like leaning towards like a 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's right. 4 1/4. You can probably get me 4.5 if I watch.
I don't do quarters, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too convoluted. Give me the full.
I do have
full number.
Mine's a 10-point scale, not a 40-point scale.
No, I will say that as far as actually just a scale, if I'm Jay White and Okada, I'm just like, fuck you guys. Thanks for like giving us something hard to beat.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're both doing to both of them. Kenny saying it to Okada probably, and Ospreay saying it to Jay White. Like, hey, you're welcome.
I mean, I guess potentially if, let's say, Jay White wins. I mean, Jay White has been prominent kind of on AEW television. He speaks very well. I'm a huge fan of Jay White. I guess potentially that's something that you could tease for Forbidden Door down the road, I guess, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Although I think obviously for like the super hardcores of the kind of trilogy and story of Okada and Kenny, I think that's probably the easier like sell job for sure.
Yeah, but Okada's not going to go for the U.S. title, right?
No, I think you could probably.
Or Kenny could lose it in the meantime, I guess.
Yeah,
but it makes it that a little harder, I think.
For sure. I mean, I assume maybe you could just do like just for like you could just do it for one belt, not necessarily like two, which I kind of prefer. So that way, it's like, oh, okay, because.
Oh, that reminds me of something you also missed. Zack Sabre Jr. is part of Mighty Don't Kneel now.
What's that? Sorry.
That Zack Sabre Jr. joined the Mighty Don't Kneel.
Oh yeah. I did see that on the Twitters.
As
I woke up.
The television belt actually kind of reminded Tyler. I don't know if you saw like a glimpse of it, like
I
but
didn't.
just.
I'll look it up now though.
It kind of reminded me of the old Brian Daniel like hemp belt where he was like the eco terrorist just because like it was like very like the straps were like pure like the entire thing was like a brown hemp. It looked like
Well,
it was like
that right there. It's like a
yeah.
Well, I love that. I have that Daniel Bryan.
Oh, you have
in my office.
Oh, dude, that's my favorite.
Yeah, I guess we never did a show. Well, yeah, we were from my office, but I was not. It's the one behind me, like that way when you say, yeah, I love that belt. I'm not a guy who buys belts, and I was like, oh my god, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So I had to splurge on that. But yeah, so here we go. We're getting the video package between.
Not gonna lie, if I were to spend money on a belt, that probably would have been the one.
Yeah, it's a sweet belt.
Glorious belt.
And it's so short lived too. Just kind of like
Yeah, I love that whole character. I love flipping, something pretty reasonable on its head, like being, obviously you can be the being vegan and saving the planet, your whole personality, and that was obviously the character there. But I love someone who's like trying to be kind and good, and that's like a heel character. That's very WWE. I enjoy that very much. So,
some people are. I know Dave just tweeted that the Sakata match won't follow what we just saw. So I'm getting the vibes, Tyler, that this might break the Meltzer scale. That match might actually break the Meltzer scale.
Yeah.
Like Javier mentioned, I think if we go back later today or during the week and actually watch it with full audio, I think we might be able to like gauge and appreciate it like on a different level, I think.
Yeah. I'm curious. I mean, like, I don't know if I'd handicap it now, I would say I still think this match will probably be higher rated in my mind after watching it. There's just like that was like such a. Well, go ahead.
My thing is like basically like there's no match I probably would have rated last year. I did a few for the G1, but I don't think there's any really match I would rate above a 4 from last year because I don't remember any specific matches. I was reading Zach's top 10 matches of the year. And it reminded me of those matches, and I remembered those matches, which I probably give them a 4. But the fact that they didn't pop to mind immediately, didn't.
Yeah, and I think the last match we watched is memorable for the fact of like Ospreay almost died like 3 times, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. But they also need to kind of build on it because if this is like the last we hear, like if Ospreay now starts feuding for the Never title or something, or goes into a tag team, this is going to mean nothing.
Yes, correct.
Because I can tell you the most recent there are 2 matches recently that are like really like are burned into my mind. Which I mean, I won't give them 5 stars, but like 4 or 5 because they're burned in my mind. And one of them is the match between Tanahashi and Naito during the G1, where because Tanahashi had been like a complete downswing, he had been constantly losing, questioning himself, and this is when Naito was the champion. and Tanahashi put on like a perfect match. He dominated Naito for the entire match, but then just like one false step, and Naito hit him and won.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, that's memorable because of the story that was like a long-term storytelling. He brought it to the champion and like just failed at the last moment. That I remember because of the story. And the match was good. It was a really good match, but it wasn't like, what we just saw right now, but it's more memorable for me. So that's why,
Yeah, and the last match we just saw, I think, was super entertaining and had crazy moments.
Yeah.
But it was Kenny beating down Ospreay was basically the entire story, and it felt it felt like the first of many, right, in this era of these two.
Well, and that's the thing. If we see this match again, this match is gonna have more value.
Yeah,
because of that,
for sure.
Because like for me, like it's not the highest rated of the Okada Omega matches, but my favorite match is the one that ended up in a draw.
Oh yeah, that's the second one, right?
I don't know if it was because there were like a total of basically 4, I think.
3. Yeah.
Well, there were 3 that were for the title, right?
Yeah,
and then one that was
Yeah.
And I think was the G1 that one that ended up in that draw.
Well, so the first one Kenny lost. He was the challenger. He won the G1 at Wrestle Kingdom. The second one was a 60-minute draw. The third, Kenny beat him in the G1. And then the fourth one is Kenny won the 2 out of 3 falls match.
Mm.
So I obviously adore that series. So
I'll always remember Kenny winning that because that was when Jericho beat Naito for the IC title.
Yeah, that's quite a show, I would say.
Yes, because that was a Dominion show, I believe, right?
Yeah,
which is like, I don't know. Is that like one of their B level shows?
Yeah, no. I think Dominion's in their number 2 show, right?
No, isn't Dominion like that? That's one of their bigger ones.
Yeah, it's like Wrestle Kingdom, then Dominion are their 2 like pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's like their SummerSlam. Yeah,
when the G1's a big event, but it's over 17 shows basically. Which
I mean, the last couple haven't been. The last couple Dominions haven't felt big, and I think it's because they've been doing those Grand Slam ones, which has taken some of the starch out of it.
Yeah. Seeing Jay White.
Also, keep in mind it's also 6:30, so anything I say from this point on might just be bullshit. So.
Well, this might not be good for my next question. Is watching Jay White out here? I'm thinking of former champions, and is Shingo hurt? Was he not on? Was he on the show earlier?
Or? Yeah, he was on the Rambo.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Finalists.
That's so crazy for how good of a run he had.
Yeah, that's what I told. That's what I told you. That's what I told you earlier. That was
4 a.m. So sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the ones that surprised me were in the Rambo. I was disappointed that they didn't have like a spot for them on the card was Great O'Khan because he had been getting a lot of push and a lot of like fans behind him. Yeah. Cobb, because Cobb feels like he was just straight up replaced by Jonah.
Yeah,
and now Jonah's gone, so it's like ELP was disappointing because they were pushing him as one of the bigger. They were pushing him as in the light heavy. Well, granted, he was also involved in the KO in the KOPW also, but with the whole daddy thing, Taichi and Shingo, those were the ones that are like.
Yeah, I mean, Shingo's a former, IWGP heavyweight champion. It's kind of crazy to be. And that's why, I mean, I don't know what, I guess better than being like fighting for the Neverweight Open title, which feels like his like lifetime, always going to be around that. So I guess that's a positive, but interesting.
Man, I was kind of hoping we were going to get Pants Okada. Like, but
bring it back.
Yeah.
For people to cheer. He like has shorts on and then he puts on pants as the reverse reveal.
Oh yeah.
Or if I was Jay White, I would have my pants and then like have the shorts on and see if I get booed for trying to steal Okada's spot. That'd be fun. Oh, Gato.
Yeah, the Taichi one was disappointing to me because the way that Suzuki-gun went out, I was kind of hoping that Taichi would eventually turn on Minoru Suzuki and take over the faction for himself.
Suzuki-gun was low-key one of my favorite factions in New Japan. I just like the I don't know. It was just like a strange bedfellows of guys because you had Lance Archer, you had Zack Sabre Jr., you had Suzuki.
Well, when you had
It's
when you had Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith as what was the name of their team?
Killer Elite Squad.
Yeah, Killer Elite Squad. That was awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good faction to be just like a bunch of random badasses roaming around together. It's always a good idea.
And then the team of Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, they're like their interactions were like some of my favorites.
Or do you think Jay White rolls out immediately to start this match, or you know?
Oh yeah.
And what's the over under on the chest pat, the nice chest pat?
Oh, like how many times or how quick?
Yeah, like within 2 minutes, under 2 minutes. I'm trying to do some DraftKings free.
I mean, they're going to pace this out. It's going to be over 2 because this is going to be paced out. I mean, you know, we're already 30 seconds in.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it is. They're trying to do Rock Austin always in the main event.
Is this 45 minutes roughly, give or take?
This is going to be over 45.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, so like 7:15-ish. It's up to you guys if you want to. We can recap everything. If Okada wins, we're gonna have a Japanese promo to end the show, and then have I forget whatever the British announcer who translates for the Japanese wrestlers. Yeah. So we can stay on for that if you want, but we don't really have any audio, so we can kind of. I'll let you guys decide.
I mean, I think it'd be worth staying on because there could obviously be
might come out or whatever.
Ibushi, Kenny. There's going to be somebody that comes out.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so probably we got an hour probably. I would say.
The other possibility is Okada wins this and then Ospreay comes out. That's not like the best case scenario because Ospreay just lost. Yeah. But it's happened before, so
very WWE.
Well, that's at least in principle, like when the IC title mattered, like when you would lose the IC title, you'd be losing upwards, kind of. So
because the last time it happened, I think it was Naito lost, and then I think challenged Ospreay, I think, or I forget who he challenged, but he said he basically made said I don't deserve it. He owned up to not deserving a title, but he said I want to get a shot anyway. And and because of the history of Okada and Ospreay, I could see Ospreay on losing and challenge Okada, and Okada accept anyway because the blood between them.
Or maybe Okada calls out Jonah and says, "Hey, come back here."
I've got some unfinished business.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, we saw Carl Anderson on the show, maybe.
What a way to go out in New Japan.
A small part of me was thinking Balor was going to come out.
Oh man, that would be awesome. But that would put the Forbidden Door show.
That would also explain why Judgment Day wasn't there on on Monday. So
yeah, well there you go.
Well, I mean, they were too busy trying to bail out Dominic from jail, so they had to sell. They had to put all their money together, though.
Yeah,
that was my favorite moment of the year so far. I've done hard time. That's just Oh man,
it was a good video. I can't make it in jail or whatever when he's in the cop car. It's very funny.
Oh man.
Yeah. On a light note, people did not like my review of SmackDown. Apparently, I've already gotten I guess that's the danger of having your DMs open. Sometimes you'll get people messaging you about. No, some people just thought I was a little bit too critical on, I guess, the impromptu title change of Ronda and Charlotte as we're talking WWE during a New Japan live stream. But
well, I mean, this is going to be a long match, so
yeah. I just think Paul Levesque feels the same way about Ronda as most of us do. So he's like, yeah, I don't care. We're just going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Ronda is not a very nice person, and I don't really care for her wrestling that much. But I just thought you did essentially 4 bad things within this entire segment where you could have just done one thing right.
I mean, yeah. To me, SmackDown for a long time has been whatever Roman is doing is pretty good, and everything around that, and then everything else kind of sucks. So
yeah,
it's par for the course, I thought.
I mean, Gunther, when he's had matches, it's been really entertaining. I'm never
And
gonna not.
Brawling Brutes, I think, have been interesting for the
Yeah.
most part, but like I don't know, it just like that stuff, especially I think the women's division is stronger in WWE still with the talent, but I think the booking has been pretty bad across that whole division
Yeah,
for a long time, and I think it's gotten a lot of not because AEW's gotten taken all the flack, and I think WWE kind of slides on that stuff.
No, because like I think I don't know if I mentioned this on the stream, and nice forums from Jay White there when we did the Crown Jewel stream, Tyler. I think I've just been advocating for a while, like what is Paul Levesque booking? Because like he's booking for return, he's booking just for returns that he's not even getting pops on anymore, which I think people are trying to say he's booking the Bloodline, which I will strongly disagree. I think that's all Roman and Paul Heyman and Sami Zayn, and he's just kind of inherited it like one of the best storylines in wrestling. So he's not really, I guess, to a degree, maybe he's booking Gunther. Nice, yeah, that was a nice, nice bump there to the.
Well, I mean, as long as he's not getting in their way. Because I mean that's a lot of the case of when Vince McMahon's booking is more like get in the way of what's working.
That was like my entire point during my hits and misses article, Javier. Like,
oh my god,
the bar is set so low. Like everybody's like, oh, he's not Vince, so he's like really good. Like just the fact that I've seen people trying to vote Hunter for Booker of the Year is just pretty absurd to me. Like, how can you be Booker of the Year when you haven't even had like a full year to book?
Yeah. Well, he's like also being graded on the biggest curve of all time.
Right. Yeah. But to me, that's so hypocrisy. You can't, like, if you're not going to like grade someone or be very harsh on someone's booking, like until you're going to give him a full WrestleMania run, but then you're going to try to give him Booker of the Year based on 5 or 6 months is like, what are we doing? Come on. You're not actually watching these shows then.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I when I do if it was a DM or you get an email, like whenever I get an email that someone commented on a post.
Granted, also when you look at the competition, also though, Tony's stock has been down this year.
Yeah.
I would just
so there is something to someone going up while everybody else is around them is going down.
Yeah, and that's a observer award too, right? I mean, it's across other places where kind of that award starts there, and that's like Brian, you're an NBA guy, right? It's like voting for GM of the year or executive of the year, right? Like a lot of times that's got a longer tail on what works, right? Like, did David Griffin win it last year? If not, he should win it this year. But it's because of everything he did with it over the last 3 years and not blowing up the Zion situation last year. He could have been like, "Hey, you're dead to me. I'm trading you," and then, So it's one of those things too. It's like something that Paul Levesque did in this year might turn out good in 3 years because he signed Roxanne Perez, who's going to be the biggest star in women's wrestling in 2025, right? And then basically a Booker of the Year then when he made a decision. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like, just obviously I'm not super fan of a award like that as opposed to a wrestler in the ring where you saw what they did in that time period. So
for sure, yeah. I mean, I will say there, the kind of like just spinning your wheels until like the Royal Rumble, which is clearly what Hunter's doing. Yeah, nice move there from Okada. Like you see like how these shows are just there, and he's like, oh well, we don't actually have to do anything for the next like 5 or 6 weeks, and then these Dynamite shows, like the last like I would say month and a half, have been real like good to great, pretty much every show. And it's like
Definitely the last like 3 weeks have been like really a change of form, I thought.
Yeah, like I mean, I was at, like I said, I was on the
really those Texas shows were like the big turnaround, I would say.
Oh God, like those Texas crowds were just bonkers. Like the noise from that Rampage show with Moxley and Takeshita, like I was like, like I hope this is coming across because these people are just that like, yeah, it was great. And the crazy about that show I was at, that wasn't even sold out. I think that was probably about 500 or 600 people less than the last Austin show I was at. So, and I would always rather have 3,000 people that make noise rather than these Raw or SmackDown shows where you have 7,000 or 8,000 people and they're just sitting there with their hands, like they're just sitting there.
Yeah, and they're papered more than anything. But, yeah, I think that's kind of like we talked about here with New Japan periodically of like the kind of. And I talked to Javier about this before we went on, but I'm kind of like a Catholic who goes to Christmas and Easter Mass and doesn't really do anything in between with New Japan. And that's kind of what we talked about. You watch Kingdom and then you watch G1, and then that's kind of their booking patterns kind of map that to where they know that's the majority of people, and they kind of. I'm not saying do the same thing as WWE, but
and if you want to have some fun, the best of Super Juniors.
Well, yeah, and I like the J Cup too, but that's not as important as.
I mean, the cool thing about the J Cup is that you get to the one that wins is usually like an up and comer.
Yeah, which is like good to see who they're targeting on. Yeah. But same thing in WWE. Like this time is usually pretty bad, but that doesn't mean you have to have like nothing going on and like Paul Levesque is hot-shotting that the Charlotte stuff too. Like you could totally have her come back, and Ronda as a heel character, and I'm sure you said this. I didn't read your thing as of yet, Brian. So I don't want to think I'm plagiarizing from you if you had the same thoughts. I'm guessing you did, but like Ronda's a heel. She didn't have to accept that fight, and she could have backed out, and you could have booked that for literally next week on SmackDown. It would have been 57% more acceptable to do it that way.
Yeah, what I was driving home is I will always hate impromptu title matches that just. No, I won't accept that. And I think there's like obviously the grading on the curve, which still people, I guess, some people appreciate that during my review of SmackDown, others don't. But the thing I've tried to stay like consistent because it is funny that people will say I am so like I'll be like very mean when I'm grading WWE, and I'm just like no. Like, I actually did really like the Raquel and Ronda match. I thought that was, like, one of Raquel's actually best matches. Like, my overall point was, like, if you wanted to just get the belt off Ronda, why couldn't Raquel just go over? And then you just have Charlotte come out, and Charlotte could be Raquel's next opponent for Royal Rumble. Like, the booking's not actually that hard. Like, they just overcomplicate the hell out of stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. And, like,
I actually ended up because I went to the live show they had here, and that match was pretty much shot by shot, the exact same match that they had, except for the ending. And I actually liked the ending that they did at the live show better because it was a clean. They didn't protect. They didn't protect Raquel. And what was weird about that match is that apparently here in Miami we didn't get the notice that Ronda's a heel because she got like she got one of like the top 4 reactions of the night.
Damn.
And Raquel was getting booed.
Interesting. I mean, no offense to Florida Javier, but I think Ronda vibes Florida pretty good. So.
I'm in Miami. That's
yeah. I know the more north you go, the more south you are. That's how Florida works. But
Yeah, we're down here. We're New York.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at Are you in Dade or are you in?
Hell yeah.
Okay, say just look at your county by county map. What color it is in presidential elections would tell that story, right? For all 3 of us on the demos you get. So,
interesting note from Brandon Thurston. Apparently, they just referenced during the broadcast that they have over 25,000 in attendance for the show. Really cool.
Sure doesn't sound like it, but
yeah, I mean that's always been the problem with the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, well, that like what? It's a baseball stadium, right? Is that what the dome is normally for? Do we know?
Like as far as what I mean, I've always just known it for wrestling. To be honest, like
Yeah, but it's like more than a auditorium, right? It's more than like if a concert comes to town, like an auditorium fits,
right.
what 21,000 people for a hockey or basketball game and like 15,000 for a concert. It's obviously bigger than that, right? It's a dome. It's not. It's like a I don't think it's like a you couldn't play like a American football game in there. I think it's a baseball arena, but I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
you're right. Because like the normal capacity, they can get like over 55
Yeah.
in there for sure.
So, okay, Steve, thank you. He said, yeah. So we're going to go with Tyler is right there just to get that in there.
Hashtag Tyler's right.
Yeah, just kidding. Don't do that. But last thing, at least for me on the stuff is like, I think the biggest complaint I would have on that booking is, cashing in the Charlotte in the bank again, that storyline, and then like totally destroying the Money in the Bank
Concept.
Yeah, but like having Theory cash in on the U.S. title, lose it, and then get it back later without cashing in. Just kind of that doesn't help. Also, from what I agree with what you laid out there, Brian, of like many ways to do this, and it was probably the worst way to do it, to get like a hot shot when they knew they were popping a rating because people want to see John Cena, and I think Charlotte coming back and setting up a match sells next week, or having a title change earned in the ring and then setting up Charlotte coming back. All those do more to help your product than to hotshot stuff for the most part. So
yeah, and of course they have to lose or win the championship by the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling, the roll up pin, roll up flash pin.
I mean, it's either that or it's the moonsault that doesn't actually connect, doesn't touch at all. So you got to choose one, I would say. So where are we at with this match, guys? I mean, definitely it's going like 50 minutes because
it's very slow.
Back and forth.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like these I mean, this is kind of like the Jay White formula. It like seems like it's like get to the point, but once you actually get there, it's like okay, this guy's really really good at professional wrestling. Because I was never really like the biggest Jay White fan when he first kind of came on board. And one of my good buddies, he was telling me like, okay, you need to get on board with this guy. He's like going to be the next big thing. And then that next year, where he beat Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, I was like, oh, okay, I get the appeal now. He's really, I mean, I don't really see
he was definitely shaky at first. He didn't.
Right.
It took a while for him to actually fully get into the character.
Mm-hmm.
Once he did, I mean, he's pretty much hit the ground running after that.
Yeah.
For me, his greatest advantage is how he's is how he sells.
Yeah, he's got very just the way he works and kind of like the way he kind of promos kind of gives me kind of old school vibes. Like obviously like immediately going out of the ring as the match starts. I guess like kind of like the closest maybe US person that has his styles, maybe MJF to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they still work very, very different styles. Like Jay White will still do super banana stuff sometimes.
You know what I missed from the Okada from the Omega match?
What's that?
He hit the Kamigoya before he hit the one-winged angel.
Yeah.
I totally missed that.
That's when he spit. That's when he spit in his face.
Yeah, duh. So yeah, I was just scrolling through, and so just make sure we're clear here on the thing. So very interesting, I would say, from a previous discussion of what could happen on this show. But is that Dominic there? That guy had like a mullet, a Dominic mullet there, at least that Brian saw. The guy that just kind of caught Okada there off this Japanese Dominic Mysterio there. It looks like whatever.
Everybody's trying to be Dom.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I don't think Okada typically will do moves like that.
No, he maybe that was an ad lib. Like, all right, hey, we got to do something here at like the. I mean, do you have a timestamp on this? Was this like 6:30 it started or 5:30 your time, Brian?
Yeah.
Do you have a timestamp?
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, so we're like 18 minutes, and so maybe it's like, hey, 15, 20 minute mark. I got to do a front flip off the top rope onto a young boy. That's his tradition, so, or young lion, I should say. So yeah, definitely. I think we're all feeling it. I think, yes, Steve said it here. Match does not sustain the ferocity of Kenny and Ospreay. I mean, that was crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that they do have to slow this down also to put a good amount of distance between the match.
Yeah, and it'll like you said, Brian. I think like a lot of Jay White and Okada matches, honestly, like that final third of this match is going to be epic, I would say, and like a lot of near falls,
5 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, and that's why like I don't think Okada and Ospreay like shit all over these guys because they didn't have like a million near falls to do that type of match. Now they can have that kind of match here, which is gonna be good, I would say. But
yeah, I really feel like they did. Ospreay and Kenny have like a ton of near falls. I feel like they had a few, but it wasn't like overdone.
Well, yes, I'm saying they didn't overdo it.
Yeah,
that was like they overdid, if you want to say that, like the high spots, the intense, the oh my god, is he dead spots. They didn't do like a WWE main event or a big time New Japan where like they did crazy near falls left and right. I think that left it for this
Such
match.
A bastard.
Just kicks him right in the head.
So I think that's like to dispel that narrative. I think are certainly things that were discussed of like, hey, we're gonna have this kind of match. You guys can then have like the epic back and forth. You know, you can have Jay White kick out of the craziest, the 17th Rainmaker, and then the 18th is the one that does it, like that sort of match, which feels like a big time Okada match more so than like a frantic match that we saw in Kenny and Ospreay. So, oof.
Hey, I just realized one of the things that we didn't get too much in this show is the stand in the middle of the ring and just punch each other.
Well, there's something happening right now, so spoiler alert.
I because I just saw the punch, which is I figured that this is coming up.
Yeah, there's a good elbow there by Okada. You'll probably see soon.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yep, there he goes. Good night.
Yeah. I mean, Kenny took a shoot bump somewhere. He looked. I'm curious what he's going to look like next Wednesday on Dynamite with that thing.
He's gonna have an eye patch.
Yeah, oh, that'd be awesome.
I'll tell you, I love the way that I love Jay White selling.
Yeah,
I mentioned that because I put him like up there with Shawn Michaels and
Bret Hart,
Ric Flair.
So like almost too goofy, but it works out more often than not.
Yeah,
that's how I'd put both those guys on there.
Yeah, and I mean like he's like at an 11.
Yeah.
You know? He's not at a 14. It's not like it's not like Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. But I mean, it works. I mean, just like selling a regular, it takes two to tango, obviously. But that elbow strike even got me a little bit where it looks real enough, and then sold to make it believable. So, I tend to agree. Pretty good.
I mean, I think that's why I was such a fan of Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels, is because they were heels and they would take a hell of a beating, and then just like sneak a win at the end, and you just wanted to kill them. I mean, because the babyface gets his for the entire match.
Yeah,
and then it's always like that one little thing at the end that and usually it's like a cheating, but like when he doesn't cheat, it's like even hurts even more.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like more heels today don't do that style because it's very infuriating. It'd be like if Ospreay won that match, he just got obliterated and then like rolled up Kenny. It'd be like, I mean, not satisfying, but it'd be like such a heel move to like.
Well, not that match because Omega was a heel for that. So
yeah, but what I'm saying, like that exact.
Yeah.
Or if like MJF just got beat up 24/7 and then pulled out the diamond ring, and I mean that would get kind of repetitive, I think, in modern wrestling too. So, but that's kind of what FTR did when they first came into AEW, and they were a heel team that I was like not a fan of the same formula every single time. So, risk control time. Oh, double risk control? You can't do that. Oh no, waist control.
Okay, so I think we're finally starting to pick up a little bit here.
I would say so. We're actually talking about the match, which is always a good sign. One thing, like if we were to advise, Jay White on his facial hair situation. Do we like it? Do we not like it? Stop, start, or keep it the same? I guess is my question to you two.
He works for me. The whole look works for me.
Yeah, I'm pro his facial hair. It's like it's different, unique to him.
It works with like his body shape and his facial.
Yes. Now, if he didn't have like the long, like stringy Adam Cole hair, then that might not work. But
yeah, well, that's why I asked. I think he looks like kind of like a pirate, and not a good way. But that's just me personally. I think a little tighter on the chin would be good. But I like to objectify men and women in wrestling, so I might make sure I keep it fair and critique people.
Equal opportunity objectifier.
Yeah, there you go. Let's make sure that's the only clip that gets formed from this.
I mean, that's the thing. He's not. It's probably because I'm picturing Brian Kendrick in my mind, and he's not to that level.
Yeah, not a great comp for old White there from but yeah, no, he does look like him
because he look, because Brian Kendrick looks like a pirate.
Yeah,
and this guy, like and he comes close, but just I don't think he goes over the.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Was that the first Rainmaker? Spoiler alert! And then
Well, it's the drop kick. Those I call them the soul crushing drop kicks.
Yeah. Well, and then we had
Blade Runner.
You saw. Yeah. So the first Blade Runner. Yeah. And then a kick out. So we're really cooking. So I'll stop the BS talk here. But he does look like Miles Teller to me. I know that's probably been made a million times, but from Top Gun Maverick and
okay. Well, when I said Blade Runner, that was Blade Runner attempt. This is the Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah, you saw it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the
I thought you were like, oh, just speed up a little bit because that was earlier than I thought.
No.
Yeah, that's definitely like
I'm still behind.
Yeah, big time. With like a Roman Reigns match. Now we're like, I don't know what are we at here? 25 minutes,
give or take.
So.
Oh my God, 7 a.m.
Past the halfway point, I would say, but not in the final third. Is kind of where I would project we are currently.
I guess like overall, I mean, this still has potential to still be a really great match, but would you guys say staying up this late or early to watch wrestling was like ultimately like worth your enjoyment?
Yeah.
It's like a maybe. I mean, I think that the Kenny match, if not for that, I think definitely not. I'd be like, well, I'm glad we're out here doing content, and it's always fun to talk to you guys. So that's different than if I like got up and was watching some of my phone.
God.
But we'll see. I mean, could still do here, but it feels like, he stole the camera shot.
I mean, to me, the best benefit is that I'm not going to accidentally reach for the phone and accidentally turn on Twitter tomorrow morning and find out all
that. Yeah, I just there was no way. Yeah, that's why I just said that I could have told myself I could have just watched it today, but there's no absolutely no way.
If I'm Okada, I fire that guy. I find out who that camera guy was and fire his ass.
Yeah, I mean that's the worst. That's the most heel thing you could ever do.
Jeez.
But yeah, I think it's too a little bit of like the Jay White title run to me personally is like him not having it doesn't mean as much as like Okada on his run or even a Naito on his run or Tanahashi on his probably final run with it, etc. I don't know, and that's
you're saying he should have the title or no?
No, I'm just saying like the Jay White with the title. Like honestly, we talked about how I'm more a casual New Japan viewer. I know what's going on, whatever. But like, if you asked me point blank, I would, I'd be like, who has the title tonight? I'd be like, I'm pretty sure Jay White has it. I think Okada won the G1, but like the fact that it's like not, I couldn't like bet my life on knowing who had the title. It's like not a good sign for where it is just for me personally as like a casual viewer is my perspective.
I like I like Jay White with the title, and one of the things that is that the idea that they played off is that Jay White has Okada's number.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have no idea how which direction this is gonna go.
I mean, I kind of feel like it's Okada, and then we're getting Kenny and Okada stare down at this point. I don't want to say Kenny winning telegraphs that, but I kind of get that vibe now.
Merge the titles.
Merge the U.S. and the and call it the IWP U.S. Heavyweight World Champion.
U.S. title.
Ugh. Whatever. Put all the belts in one in all of wrestling. That'd be a fun thought process. You just have every belt merge into another belt until what would the final belt battle be? That'd be a fun black hole of wrestling belts. Everyone then at that point is the lineal champion of everything. So, but wrestling's weird. So here we go. So we've had one Blade Runner, one Rainmaker thus far. Kick out free.
That's correct.
You gotta keep keep tabs. That's obviously the big story here. Now we are just
I mean, where are we with Okada's finishes? I think it's the landslide tombstone into the Rainmaker is what his.
Yeah, he already hit the jumping,
but
tombstone at the very beginning, right?
Yeah, but isn't it a tell for him if it's the spinning though tombstone?
No, his final setup now is the landslide one version of the tombstone.
I mean, it's an Okada match.
Has it done the paper? Has it done the paper clip yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, the money clip.
But
I think he tried to do it earlier in the match, which is
if he hasn't done it, then that might be how he wins. Either that or we're only at the halfway point.
Yeah, I think this is a 17 Rainmaker finish is the classic Okada finish.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Yeah.
Yeah, just literally kill them, bring them back to life with one more, and then kill them again.
Yeah, I mean that's what I like about Okada is that you never know which because it'd take them 20 Rainmakers to win. You don't know which one it was so you would bite on the finishes.
Yeah.
I always found that interesting.
Unrelated, if I ever get the chance to interview her, I'd love to have a conversation with the champ. But Jamie Hayter not calling her finish the Haymaker, I feel is the most missed opportunity in wrestling.
Yeah.
Well,
that and Candice LeRae not calling her finisher the Can Escape.
Yeah, there you go.
I would say especially for Jamie, when you see that Ty Mello on the roster named 17 moves after KO and Ty in every single fit move that she has, I think she's probably I'm gonna zag on that that style that we're doing because that's not working for her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Haterade. It's fine. I
hate Haterade. That's just
I've heard worse.
Oh man,
that's from a different era.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was something. That's how I was reacting to.
Yeah, I should have. That should have actually been in the predictions. I didn't think about that.
Well, do you think it's going to go the other way too? Then probably.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Blade Runner from Okada.
Yep. I was wondering, do you think? So second, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Jesus, it folded them up like an accordion.
Yeah. Well, hold for Javier on that move. Just let Javier let me know when you see the move I reacted to a couple seconds ago.
Yeah, that's what it was. I had a feeling that there was another one, the Cobra Flosion.
So you've seen the move then?
Yeah, it's over.
Okay. Wow, what an anticlimactic finish.
Right?
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were I don't care what just happened. I mean, to get just totally for both, I don't know. That's
that's
very
matches.
strange.
They've had better matches.
Yeah, I mean, to have that match before and then be we're keeping the exact same schedule and time and flow and that was 33 minutes.
Yeah,
they both could have gone a lot harder than that. I think.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing because if that they should have definitely picked up the speed a little bit if they were going to go that short.
Yeah. I mean, because when I said oh, are we halfway through or a third? They were 7 minutes from the finish. So it just didn't feel. I don't know. Very strange.
Yeah,
I thought
the Okada Tamatanga match had a better ending.
huh.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a lot better Okada finishes than that.
Yeah. And better Jay White finishes too.
Yeah, very interesting. It feels like a repudiation of Jay White if I'm like trying to read too much into it from like like I don't know, that felt like he had 2 more kickouts in him.
Yeah, where was the Jay White Rainmaker?
Yeah.
I don't think he even did that.
No.
All right.
So
Jay
maybe
White
set up down, it's more, but I don't know. Like it feels like this feels like it's going to be a long Okada run to me. It's been like, we had
it's gotta be because if you're gonna give it to Okada, it's gotta go on for a while.
Yeah, this is like the end of his prime kind of run, I would say.
Yeah.
Is what we'll be booking. So like you're to like take it off Jay White, like because he signed through like 28, right? I
Something
think.
super crazy.
Like he'll probably be champion again, but it feels like I don't know, like a Naito situation where it's going to be like forever.
I hate this belt so much.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they've redesigned it a little bit, but I can't not look at it. It looks like the Divas title like threw up on it.
Yeah.
It just,
I mean, that old school IWGP
that was
one of the best belts of all time.
That was the belt. Like, what was wrong with that belt?
Nothing. It's like that and the big gold. It's pretty easy to make a belt, and like nobody can make a good belt really. It's
right.
It's just the one guy that makes them all, I think, is the problem. But
well, because like a lot of people like the new UFC titles. I don't like those.
Yeah, I don't either.
See, because like to me, I don't. Maybe this is me just being an old, but I really like the plain Jane WCW like world title. It was just like gold. It was super plain. There was nothing to it. A lot of people obviously are really fond of the Eagle belt for WWE for sure, but I was always a fan of the WCW world title. It was just like it was big, it was simple.
Well,
I remember.
Yeah, the thing is with belts today, in my opinion, it's like they look really good in the Twitter picture of it. Like here's the new belt, it looks beautiful, but then like you're got this shot of Okada and you can't really see anything on the belt. It's just kind of like a blah of whatever, and that's like what belts look like because you're seeing them from far away, and they need to look good far away more so than close up. And I think that's like what the good belts do.
And looking at it now, I forgot the joke of this belt. It looks exactly like Cody's neck tattoo, and I can't unsee it now again. Damn it.
Well,
I described it as the Autobot symbol.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, that's also an option. So Cody should definitely come back to New Japan. So
Cody's coming out
his
right
belt.
now. That's the story. Cody wasn't premiering on Raw on Monday. He's coming out to challenge Okada.
In my soul, give me my belt because that's my face.
Downstate's on the stage right now, about to play live. Well, we don't need to rank the main events of Wrestle Kingdoms in the past, but that certainly was a deflating one, I would say.
Yeah. I'll have to come back and watch it, but
I've definitely seen better Jay White matches than that one. I feel.
Yeah. These two have had better matches.
Oh, Shingo.
This feels like the match that you take and go on tour with.
Maybe, yeah.
Missing those extra more dangerous spots and that sort of stuff.
I guess, but like, I mean, you can build that way, but it's like what I think is bad booking of like having a WrestleMania match.
Seriously, it's gonna be you. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
You were on the Rambo, man. Come on.
Maybe he's congratulating him, but that would certainly be disappointing.
Yeah.
It's like booking a WrestleMania match as the first of a series of matches. It's just like it's not a good way to do it, in my opinion. As like your top tier, you can do that for like a minor tier program, but not your main program. Seems fraught. Seems like a Randy Orton style of booking a feud, as opposed to.
All right, come on. Where's Kenny? Shingo, I like you, but no. Like, I need you out of the spot, man. You can't be in the Rambo and challenge the champion. I'm not about that.
And not even win it.
No.
Right? He's not even in the final four, right? Who threw him out? They should be out there being like, hold on, bro.
Yeah, no, Shingo's the Final Four.
Oh, he's okay. Well, he's got other things to fight for then, so that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that. I mean, Shingo's definitely more my jam. He
Oh yeah,
will
Shingo's
knock the hell out of someone, but it just seems like a missed opportunity that we're not even teasing Kenny and Okada at all.
Yeah. And
or shit, even if Ospreay wanted to come out, like again, that's losing upwards, but I think that's
I mean,
more
all the
intriguing.
options. There's 3 options, right? There's like Ospreay, Kenny, Coda. I mean, there's many options. And then this is
I mean, with no
low on the
Bush,
list.
I think that's a very good chance that he done.
Yeah. We'll see. Could be a double swerve. Doesn't seem like New Japan is a double swerve kind of company, but
I mean, it happened recently. It was and it was with Shingo. Shingo came out, and I think was it Ospreay that came out, or somebody else came out, and then
All right.
I got my TV up, so I'll let you know if I hear anything here.
Well, just looking at Twitter, it appears Shingo is challenging Okada for the title, which is really weird.
Which is the problem with like we're gonna show so soon after this too, that you can't have like that's like the one thing I was gonna have with Ospreay is have him lose and then do you want him to fight Okada so quickly and then lose again, right? Probably not. You probably want to have that up for Dominion is the plan, is Ospreay and Okada. And they need, former champs, Shingo,
or
Naito.
Because if Ospreay wrestles Okada again, he's gonna beat him. So I would say Ospreay wins the G1 and then challenges Okada.
Yeah, you think that's like the run here? Because I was thinking even more than a year, honestly. If you're going to do like one more final epic, you have 2 epic Okada runs. But
yeah, because if you're doing like a year plus, like Ospreay has to be the guy to get the belt off him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think he could beat him. I don't think it'll work if Okada beats Ospreay again.
Yeah. Is on here. Shingo's the Seth Rollins of New Japan. Like that is like so true. And I like both guys a lot, but it's just like if Shingo gets a laugh, we know what's going on. If he comes out with the Shingo drip, we know what's up. Snowy bask in the glory of Okada. He's calling out the guy. I'm just making this up, but I don't speak Japanese. But he's calling out the guy in the camera who panned back, as Javier wanted to. So.
Yeah. So yeah, so the show at the end of the so they're calling the show at the end of the year Wrestle Kingdom 17.
What?
The one in Yokohama.
Mm.
It's being called Wrestle Kingdom. So is there a second Wrestle Kingdom show?
Yeah, this is 17 here.
Well, like I think that was like the confusion because like. I think like in 2 weeks they were having like Wrestle Kingdom number 2.
Yeah, it's like
I think
that's probably where Shingo's going to take on Okada if I had to imagine. It's like the 29th, I believe. But I think it's in Yokohama, right? I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but it was not in Tokyo.
Yeah, it's Yokohama.
Okay. So strange. I mean.
So is it the second into Wrestle Kingdom, or what are they doing?
I don't know. It was paired together when I was like looking at when this started. When when I thought it started at 3, and Javier, you were like, "Oh, it starts at 1." I was like, "Oh my god, I can't commit to this."
Yeah, because like my brain like got crossed because I guess when I saw it's a 140 like a start time, I didn't realize that's when the I guess the prelim started, and I was like, "Oh fuck! How many cards? How many matches did I miss?"
And Steve's confirming yes, the second Wrestle Kingdom braided show in Yokohama later in the month. So
thank you, Steve.
So I take back giving the props for cutting it down to 1.
Yeah, no, can't do it. I mean that's like the benefit. I think there's negatives and benefits to the way.
My screen decided it's done for the night.
No.
Oh no.
I got mine up selling and everything happens. But
yeah, Coda.
Let me know if something happens.
Okada is still cutting a very long post.
I think
match
he's talking
promo.
about Inoki because there's a photo of him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he was obviously going to be super emotional for this match. I forgot about that.
So that should have told us what we needed to know right there.
You know what?
Like
Had I bothered to think about that, it would have made. I would have been much more comfortable with choosing Okada.
Yeah, but I think that's the
hindsight.
There's pros and cons in like the way that we consume New Japan here in the States. And like the pros, like you can kind of jump in, you know who the characters are, you know who's important, who's not. But like kind of like WWE is, like you could just watch a video package and get caught up on watch pay-per-views only. But like, man, their branding and like having this weird second show, it's just like they did not help themselves outside of their tentpole stuff to like, in my opinion, to like get new fans to watch on a regular basis. I think it'd be tremendously difficult to watch live most shows because they're only in Japanese and etc. You got to be like a diehard, and I think there's like just such a limit on what they can be based on the way they operate currently.
Well, that, and I think there's still that weird thing where sometimes the English versions are always not like available to stream right away.
Yeah, they're like a day or two later.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been watching obviously the shows consistently, but I would think post COVID in 2023 they should get back to normal, because I feel like a few years ago those were always on sync, right? Am I crazy? Because I feel
for like the big shows, I think that, like because they have like a weekly show that was never like live
for sure.
Like Kelly would do like the commentary later on it, but
yeah, the like in the G1, well, the G1 last couple ones have been done, day and date, but the other shows like Best of Super Juniors and stuff, those were like done a couple days later.
Yeah.
Although I think since when they started doing it, from home, when he was doing it from home, I think that we're more likely to get more consistent same day, except for those like really like crappy, whatchamacallit, road, when they're building up towards their C pay-per-views and stuff like that, would be my guess. When they're in those like, those will look like sports gymnasiums.
Yeah,
the middle of like the Best of Super Junior kind of locations.
Yeah, or like the worst G1s, not the worst, but the ones where it's like, oh, okay, really? Toriano's main eventing.
What are we doing here?
Something's up. So
the post match press conference promo should be pretty entertaining, I imagine.
Yeah.
Jay White always has good ones.
Yes, and he's in defeat, especially.
Now, what's been what was a missed opportunity for them is that they YouTube did not have the translated press conference. The subtitle press conference is like, you should have that done before the actual event.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Okada's
got a mic on the stage walking out, so we'll see if something happens here.
Interesting. All right, somebody attack him. Come on. Lights go off. Where's Kenny?
So we got to enter the right way. I assume he's just going to make it rain.
I'm still pulling for Balor.
Looks like more tribute.
For Inoki.
Yeah, more Inoki tribute.
Yeah.
Did I see that right? It looks like they're potentially going to make a Inoki movie. Did I see that right?
I didn't see that, but that makes sense, I think. Depends, what is the appeal of that broadly? I don't know. But, if that's a Japan product and you can do it cheaply, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think if you do it correctly, I think that maybe that could be like an HBO Max special, I think.
Well, that's good. Like, there's not like a bunch of baggage like with a Hogan movie, right? Where there's like, him and it's like feels like kind of a superhero movie,
right?
Good or bad. but Inoki can be like, hey, there's this like interesting movie about a Japanese wrestler whose name's Antonio. So yeah, I think it could work. And Okada got fireworks and walking off. And yes, Steve is asking when Bushi Road invests in wireless microphones. I would say never. I think it's a step at this point.
I don't mind it. It's like I think they're the only promotion that could get away with that and it not look funny.
Yeah.
All right.
So are we doing New Year's Dash?
Well, I can give you access to the channel if you want to do it, Javier, but I think I'll pass on that. Usually New Year's Dash is pretty good, We'll see what happens.
I'll tell you what, like when I first got into New Japan, those first 2 New Year's Dashes were awesome because big things happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Since then, like nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Because didn't like Jericho attack somebody in Naito in one of those, right?
Yeah.
After his first.
Well, the first one I saw was the return of Suzuki again. From Exile, where were they? I think Noah.
Yeah.
So that was the first one. So that was a big deal. Also, was that also when the one? I think the one before that was when Kenny Omega. It was the switch from AJ Styles to Kenny Omega. I think it was the previous year. That I didn't see that one, but I went back and watched it. And then there was the night the one where Jericho attacked Naito. But then after that, I think there was was it Liger's retirement?
Oh yeah, that was actually pretty. I felt like I almost cried during that.
Yeah. So there was that one, and which I mean, it was cool for that. It was just not, like momentous in terms of the storylines going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one I think was like boring.
Yep. Well, we'll see. So I guess before we leave, thank you, Javier and Brian, for joining me early in the morning. You guys are the MVPs of this broadcast as I kind of stumbled along and just talked about the facial hair of Jay White. I think it's my biggest contribute. I don't know how you guys want to rate. What's your choice? Thumbs up, thumbs down is the Torch way, but you can give another rating beyond that if you'd like to. Thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down.
I mean, thumbs up, but like tepid. Hey, you know what? It's a Orange Cassidy thumbs up.
There you go. How about you, Brian?
I'd probably go a little bit above that just because I really enjoyed the four-way was it was good. I mean, Kenny and Ospreay was great, and Okada and White was good, but didn't meet my expectations. And at least from the standpoint of kind of, I guess, things that you thought you were going to see, you got. I mean, obviously you got Mercedes Monet, and then like Kenny and Ospreay delivered. So I'm really tired, and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this nap. But thumbs up.
Me too. I give it a thumbs up as well for a wrestling show. It feels like a mid-tier Wrestle Kingdom. So
that's why it's an Orange Cassidy, because I'm comparing it to other Wrestle Kingdoms.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Shows.
I mean, it's like a mid-tier WrestleMania, right? Like, what's a mid-tier WrestleMania? Like WrestleMania 26 or something? Like, had a good match, had that Taker Michaels match, but kind of some okay stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a WrestleMania 30, right? I think is a beloved WrestleMania, or a 31 maybe. It's but certainly not a 32, right? No offense to your Dallas WrestleManias there, Brian.
And for me, it's also the fact that I had higher expectations for this than the previes two, because the previous two were clap crowds, pandemic stuff, and I was expecting one night. Some of the matches I was more looking forward to on the undercard, the women's match, the Zack Sabre Jr. and I thought underperformed a little bit. And FTR was kind of like it was a good match and I liked it, but it's against Bishamon. It was fun. It was fine, but didn't really feel like, something that drew me into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I enjoyed it. It's just, not like expectations. I think I had were higher than that. And I think whenever you have high expectations for something, you're going to get disappointed.
Yeah, for sure. So Cool. Well, I think that's reasonable. I think it seems like online, at least the people I'm just seeing that watched it live were higher on it than the three of us. But that is the wrestling world. I think
we also watch a lot.
Yeah. And I think we are.
lot.
I think we're. I think the Torch in general, if I can editorialize here, is a little more critical than other sources. We're as I talked about here too. Like we're not peddling for interviews with people. So I think we could be a little more critical of things than when some of your job is to get tons of interviews with people, etc. So,
although if wrestlers want to give us interviews, they're more than welcome to jump on a fireside chat with us.
Yeah, you DM Brian if you want to do that. I think my interviewing days are over. So, but we'll see how it goes. But guys, thank you again. Start with you, Javier. If you want to plug anything, go for it.
No, just check me out on Sunday when I go over this in greater detail with Greg.
Yeah, and see if you're more or less tepid on it.
Yeah. I mean, I really do want to go back and check out the Kenny Omega, because I mean that looked like that could have been a lot higher in my estimation.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. And Brian, you want to plug anything?
Just at Brian Zillum. Obviously, if those who are not familiar, I am the weekly contributor for SmackDown, Hits and Misses, and occasionally I'll get some scrum action if allowed. Viva the AEW pay-per-view shows. A lot of good stuff in December plugged from the site. Appreciate Zach and everybody giving me an opportunity to do that. It is kind of surreal sometimes to when you're looking at the website and you see an interview or a scrum question just on there, as a commercial. It's like, oh, that's pretty neat. It's me.
Yeah. And I think Texas earned an AEW pay-per-view in 2023 or early 2024 with the crowd. So I think you probably will have the opportunity to do a scrum.
I mean, hey man, I was trying to. That's what I was trying to get at with Tony, because he's got that relationship with Jerry Jones. So
yeah, there you go. But yeah, cool. And then I'm at Ring of Tyler. You guys see that on the screen. You probably know me. So, but yeah, check out Dynamite tonight. We'll see if Wrestle Kingdom's obviously the best show of 2023 so far. So we'll see if after Dynamite we can retain that. I'll give an answer tonight on the post show with Wade. So, but cool, guys. Thank you as always, and thank you everyone for watching live. And if you watch this on delay, I don't think we timed it out very well. So that's one note for me on the producing aspect of this. To maybe have a little flag of hey, the match is starting now when you go back and rewatch this, but appreciate you watching anyway.
Well, and you know what? You two could also pause your video and let me catch up too. That would have been a smart thing to do. But,
we can't do that.
4 a.m.
No, yeah, it's hard enough. We're not in the same room. I've done that with Zach many times, and I just
but at least within a minute, man.
you were close. We didn't spoil the end. I was asking when you saw the end.
You guys were good. You were good.
Yeah. So it was kind of fun. I liked the dynamic of us reacting.
We could have at least reacted together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, well, next time. That's a note. Those two notes.
Javier, always the slow one.
Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Well, thank you, everybody. And we will see you later.